It's good. It's good.
I have paper, boys. You guys remember what paper is?
Nope.
Oh god, nope. I got paper notes this time.
Wow. How old are you?
If only that was a Pokemon. That would be a Digimon type paper.
What do you mean?
Paper?
No, that would be a Dungeons and Dragons character.
No, he would just digivolve into a stack of papers with like a hat on or something.
And then all of a sudden digivolve from that into a angel with 3 boobas. Because that's how Digimon go.
Uh-huh.
It goes from like a blob to a bipedal blob to like now a naked angel.
The best Digimon evolution is this ghost, this like angry looking ghost, and then it digivolves and it literally just gets like a witch hat. Nothing else changes. Like they were like, how can we mess with people when we make this one? Put a hat on it.
I feel like that's a slight at Pokemon for like Voltorb, where it's like, what do we do with a Pokeball? Turn it over and make it mad. It's like that's it. Like I don't know. Digimon's weird. I never got.
Well, I mean, he goes from a dinosaur to being like a giant mech with machine guns and stuff. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, but I feel like because we didn't get into it on like the ground level, because I think we were.
I played some of the early Digimon games. And,
oh, really?
Yeah.
I had the card game. It made no sense. But
see, to me, it's like I don't know if it just wasn't fleshed out, but I was like so busy on Pokemon that I never really cared about Digimon. And then when I was like, oh, okay, well, it's kind of like the sequel to Pokemon. Let me try to get into this, and it's like I just couldn't. There was something about it.
Same with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh I've never been able to get into.
I had a girlfriend whose younger brother tried to get me into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm like, I don't understand this. All I know is Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you tripped my trap card or whatever.
Blue Eyes.
It was one of the
Blue
Eyes White Dragon.
Okay, is that the name of the card?
Yeah.
Yes.
The name of the creature.
It was like the top creature at the time.
Oh, was it really?
3,000 attack, I think like 2,500 defense.
That's so arbitrary to me. That means absolutely nothing.
I know.
It's believe me, it means nothing in the game either.
I've got 2,500 points of defense. Let's see you can crash through that wall.
Oh God, it's I never understood why certain card games overinflate the numbers to make it seem like you're doing a lot more, and it just...
Yeah, that's just an issue in games in general.
That's why I liked Magic. 1-1.
Yeah. Because I guess if like, in the original Pokemon trading card game, if you had Charizard and it's like, I'm going to hit you with Fire Spin for 3 damage. Yeah. It just didn't sound as intimidating as, guess what, you're taking 100 hit points of damage.
Oh God, yeah. And he was a heavy hitter back then.
He was the heaviest hitter.
I thought somebody else, what is it, 120 he did?
Chansey, didn't she have double edge?
No, she had 80. She could do 80.
That's right. It had one of the highest hit points.
So Fire Spin did 120 damage for 4 energy, and you had to discard 2, I believe, from him?
Yes.
And he had 120 hit points.
Right, he was a big boy.
So he was a big boy. I think the other one that did the second most damage was actually Venusaur.
I thought it was... No.
Yeah.
Not Venusaur.
Yeah, wasn't it?
It was only 4 for 8.
Oh, it was 4 for 60. It was 4 for 60.
I think Zapdos was the second highest. It was 4 for 100.
90. Didn't he do 90?
He did 4 for 100, but you had to discard all electric from him.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Too long ago and I'm too old.
There was only 2 cards though that could do over 100 or like 100 damage, and it was Zapdos and Charizard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in case nobody knows what we're talking about,
Digimon.
Yes, we're talking about Digimon today. The Digimon Cinematic Universe.
No, very cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Can't wait to get into
So it's just going to be me talking.
Yeah, pretty much. It's Pokemon 4, The Revenge. We're talking about Scarlet and Violet. A little, 4 months after the curve? 5 months.
Yeah.
Came out, November?
We took our time to get into it.
Well,
and kind of...
one person in particular took their time to get into it.
What are you talking about?
I'm not going to point any fingers. Paul.
Oh, that is true. I did wait until February to really start it.
Yeah, whereas Kevin and I were already long gone.
I was already beating it and on to the next game.
Yeah.
In fact, it's funny because I opened up so I got the game for Christmas.
Yes.
And I opened it up in, I think it was the second week of March. And there was a redemption voucher in the case when I opened it up. and they're like, you can get I think it was like a flying Pikachu or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so cool.
Expired December 31st.
No, expired like February 27th.
Oh.
And I'm
Really?
like, yeah, and
Oh my God.
I was a week late on it, and I'm like, oh crap, I should have opened it sooner.
Because I know with Sword and Shield I got that double pack because I gave you
Scarlet.
For Sword and Shield.
Oh,
and it came
right.
with a code to get a Tyranitar and a code to get a Jangmo O. And I want to say it expired in like 2089 or something like that. Like, it was
seriously?
some crazy, yeah.
Arbitrary that they want to make sure that you can always redeem it. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was February 27th of 2023. I'm pretty sure it was.
Surprising it would be that early.
Well,
I'll have to double
but
check.
I wouldn't be surprised because the way they have those the dungeons that you can go into, they gave you Flying Pikachu early, and he can show up as another version in those dungeons later.
Okay, yeah, maybe it is. Oh, the Terra Raids.
The Terra Raids, there we go. Thanks, sorry.
Yeah, the dungeons.
No, that's what they are.
That's what they look like. Yeah.
The Terra raids are no different than the raids from Sword and Shield, though.
Right, just with a different gimmick.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we're talking about Scarlet and Violet. We have thoughts, criticisms, but overall, what is your impression of the game, Paul? What did you like Scarlet and Violet?
I did.
First question, did you actually finish it?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which version did you get, I should say?
Scarlet.
You got Scarlet?
Yep.
That's right. You're a past kind of guy.
I was, in the past.
And then...
Had no
I was
idea.
Scarlet as well, but it's only because I liked the design for...
Had no idea that there was a past version and then future version. Yeah, and so it was appropriate then because, I would say I'm more of a past guy than a future guy. So.
Yeah, I got Violet because purple's my favorite color. So I liked... Miraidon or Koraidon.
You know, Miraidon.
I had
Koraidon.
Miraidon. Yeah.
You had Miraidon. Yeah.
I liked
In
Miraidon.
Scarlet, it was Koraidon.
Yeah, I thought he looked cooler to me. So, but I'm more of a sci-fi kind of.
Usually I am
person.
too, but I
way.
didn't. Yeah, something about his
Don't
design
you
was-
dare ever say that again.
What?
You are not a sci-fi person.
I love sci-fi.
No,
most
you-
of my favorite RPGs are like sci-fi RPGs.
Go to hell.
Fantasy Stars.
He's not talking movies and stuff.
I'm not talking movies, except for a couple. But
And even then, not really.
Star Wars is the quintessential sci-fi
Star Trek.
adventure.
Star Trek. Well, adventure, okay.
Star Wars is lame. It's the worst story ever conceived because it's so shoehorned into
Really?
one
Have you picked up
small
comic
box.
books in the last 20 years?
Comic books aren't canon.
They are actually. 'cause
And
it's
that's
Disney.
the problem.
It's Disney and it's Marvel.
Neither
Yeah.
is half of Star Wars.
I know, but Star Wars is lame because it's such a small box of creativity but Star Trek's the same. Nah, I mean,
All
Star
right.
Trek is now basically Star Wars for Star Trek fans, and it's
All right.
a
Well,
joke.
anyways, so yes, it's okay. You are a sci-fi guy. Yeah. I did beat the game, and overall, I liked it. I think that there was quite a few improvements that they made from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet. Obviously, there's going to be some things that I was critical of, things I did not care for in the game, but we'll talk about that. But
Right.
but overall, the game I thought was enjoyable. The story was it was good for what it was. I guess
For what story you got?
there's not much, but
Yeah.
and we'll talk about that. But yeah, I would say overall though, it's more on the positive side than the negative.
Agreed. Kevin, what are your thoughts on Scarlet and Violet? Gen 9? Is this the Gen 9, right?
I think so, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, I think it's a good first step towards what I think Pokemon should have become years ago.
I agree.
And it's just, it's Nintendo being Nintendo and holding themselves back.
Right. Which, and there's
That's-
more to talk about on that as well.
That's
But
kind of alluding to it. That's
Yeah.
why it was good. Segue
Yeah.
into what your thoughts were.
overall...
Didn't get the hint.
Oh, no, I knew I smelled what you were stepping. Or what you were
Cooking.
Cooking.
Because you can smell when people
Oh.
are cooking. For God's
Like
sake.
a rock. Oh, God. Which is a type of Pokemon. Oh, my God. I can't believe they didn't make a Dwayne the Rock Pokemon.
Full circle, full circle,
I brought it
boys.
around, boys. But, no, overall, I liked it, too. I was the only one of the three of us that actually played Pokemon Arceus, or Arceus, I guess.
Yeah.
I will always call it
Arceus.
Arceus. But that's another pronunciation thing, like what they did with Final Fantasy between Mako and Mako.
Oh, right. When they called it the cross
Good.
as X.
Yeah, no,
Just kidding.
like between Mako and Mako.
Oh.
I've always heard it pronounced Mako, and I'm pretty sure
That was
in
a
the
Western-
Advent Children
that was
movie
a
they call
West-
it Mako.
But I think that's purely just a Western pronunciation. When they
Yeah.
had more control over the remake, they were like, no, we're gonna go with these proper pronunciations, which is why they also went with Aerith instead of Eris.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Which I personally liked Eris better, but
Yeah.
that's just me. Aerith just sounds
Sounds like
like
someone with a lisp.
yeah, either a lisp or you sound like you bit your tongue, and it's like my name's Aerith. It drives me nuts. But whatever. But overall, yeah, like I said, liked the game. I was the only one that played Arceus, so I saw
Some of the building
kind
blocks.
of some of the similarities, and I showed you actually the other day about like Arceus and what kind of started. There's some things I wish they would have pulled more from Arceus as opposed to like what they did. Like I wish they would have done the catching like they did in Arceus, where you didn't actually have to battle him.
Yeah.
You could just throw the Pokeball at it in the wild and catch it.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have done that as well in this, because god damn it, there's a lot of fucking Pokemon around you and you just don't feel like fighting everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which is...
And sometimes you do your best to avoid stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's still stuff that you'll run into like on accident where it's like your character will just stop moving. You're like, what the hell happened? Why did I stop moving?
Yeah.
And it's because you ran into a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, like I said, I think it's a good step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's a lot of stumbling points. There's a lot to go. So, for those of you listening who absolutely adore the game, we don't hate it.
No, not
All right,
at all.
we're gonna bitch about it a lot.
I bitch about every game I play, though.
But I think our criticisms are coming from the heart. As longtime fans of Pokemon since Gen 1, our criticisms are from the point of view of a fan who wants to see better.
Some of but when I say like, because we'll go through the pros and the cons, but some of my cons are not necessarily, it's not that I hate it for what it is. I'm just pointing it out as I guess as like just what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just calling attention to it.
Calling a spade a spade.
Yes. Yeah. Neither good nor bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the first thing I wanna talk about is designs of the Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably one of the strongest generations in terms of design, because I mean, holy crap,
Well,
the
I agree.
starters. I think even though we don't like Quaxcaval, the water one, it's still a pretty badass design.
But compared to all the other water starters, it looks terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Skeledirge looks amazing.
Mm.
It would have been
I
okay.
really like Neoscarata.
To be honest, it would have been better as a wild Pokemon that was like the second form of a Pokemon,
Mm.
and then had a completely different water Pokemon for the starter. Because like it looks more like something that would be like that you'd find out in the wild versus a starter. The starters always looked much more unique compared to a lot of stuff.
Well, I'd say it's pretty unique.
Because
Because one of the things that I really liked about their designs is, I don't know if you guys caught this, but every starter has, like, almost like a weird familiar with them. Like, when you use Torch Song with Skeledirge,
He's got the
right?
Firebird.
He's got the little Firebird.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Neoscarata
yeah.
has the floating flower
Mm-hmm.
that turns into bombs, and Quaxcaval has something.
Peacock tails.
It's like peacock tails that turn into something, but they all have, like, this... almost like an extension of what they are, which I thought was actually a really unique design. None of the other ones really have that.
Yeah.
The only one that kind of came close was like Rillaboom from Sword and Shield, where it had the drum.
Or like
But-
Emor,
yeah.
where his fire is his beard.
Yeah, but like none of them ever had like that common type of themey thing.
Yeah,
I
it's-
thought that was actually kind of neat. I
No,
really
I-
liked the design of the starters.
I was a big fan of a lot of the designs of some of the Pokemon. I think that honestly, yes, there were some
Silly
just
ones.
silly ones. But there was
Flamigo.
yeah, but there were some that were just absolutely amazing. Scovillain was to me like I was like, what the hell is this thing? Like, this is so cool.
He made me laugh because, like, the first time I saw him, I was like, someone's a fan of Ghidorah, but only made him 2 heads.
Yeah, and then it's I think I had to fight 2 of them to realize that it's a pepper.
Yes,
It's a green pepper and a red pepper, and I'm like, oh my god! So it's like they put leaf and fire together. Like, how cool is that?
That's what I wanted to say. I like the fact that he's grass fire.
Yes,
and his name actually, once I thought about it, and I noticed he was Peppers. The name makes sense.
Yeah,
the Scoville scale in terms of
and
judging
even
heat and capsicum.
Capsicum, because it's capsicum. Yeah,
Capsaicin.
Capsaicin. Oh, a capsicum is for pepper spray.
When you eat I was
pepper spray.
thinking something else.
No, oleoresin capsicum is pepper spray.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because mace is
is factory made. It's
right.
Not,
it's
not
chemical.
Natural. Yeah, it's chemical.
And pepper spray is natural. That's
Yep.
right. I always remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I agree. The Pokemon designs are like Ceruledge and Armarouge, really badass.
Yep.
They're amongst my favorites. And then
yes.
the dog, the graveyard dogs.
Grave
And Houndstone?
Yes. Yeah.
I love when you're
even
walking up and you see the tombstone in the ground, and then all of a sudden they like burrow out of the ground. You're like, zombies!
Even just like that Primeape has an evolution, the Annihilate. I mean, it's was it King Gambit as well too. I mean, there's so many awesome designs.
Even Tauros having the alternate forms.
Oh yes, the water
really
form and the
fucking
fire
cool.
form. Yeah.
I like the black design of it, even just the regular fighting one.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a great idea. Poor Pinsir, man. When is Pinsir gonna get his time in his set? You got fucking Scyther, who has Scissor, you got an evolution.
But then there's
Gen
even
2.
I was gonna say, but there's also isn't there another evolution past Sizer?
There was not past Sizer, but in Arceus there was Cleaver.
Oh,
where it was the Hisuian form, which I kind of hope that they bring some of those into Scarlet and Violet, or even like future generations, because some of those I like Typhlosion's
Zoroark's
Hisuian, the Quillfish, like they did. That was one of the reasons I really liked Arceus, was because I liked a lot of the alternate versions of like Sneasel was poison fighting, I think, or something like that, and even though it's evolution Sneasler, get the fuck out of here. But no, I think this was definitely one of the strongest generations in terms of like design.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, they have their stumbling blocks like Flamigo. Literally a flamingo, no design change to it whatsoever.
It's just a cartoony design of a flamingo. That's it.
It looks so stupid.
I wouldn't even say that it's cartoony. I would say
I only say cartoony because of the way they rounded it.
Oh, sure.
Because if you look at it in like the Pokedex, it's very round on the edge of the wings and stuff like that. So it's got that very like soft edge rather than like the edge of like a way a feather is.
Yeah. But I mean, fuck out of here. Like, you could argue Pokemon's always been lazy, because like we said, look at Voltorb and Electrode.
Muck and Grimer.
Muck and Grimer are a good example. Of course, or even when they started doing like the trio Pokemon, like Magnemite to Magneton, Diglett to Dugtrio, like they started doing that kind of crap.
That's the second and third form of Politoed.
Oh,
Whirl and Wrath, he just gets bigger and angrier.
Yeah, and the swirl goes the other way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then... God, that was stupid. Why did
they've also got a Pokemon that's literally just keys. So
a key ring? A haunted key ring?
So, I mean,
it's... So, yeah, their designs haven't always been on par, but, like, I think, overall, super good. I liked a lot of them.
Yeah.
Overall, too, kind of moving on from, like, the how the Pokemon look and liking that, I also liked the characters, too. I actually ended up really liking Arven and Nimona. As the new Misty and Brock, I really do, like, I felt like it was very organic. The way that you ended up being friends with Arven.
Well, they felt like proper friend/rivals compared to past generations, where it's just, I'm your rival, show up, fight me, walk away.
But it's funny because Nimona is like...
Drove me crazy.
It's not... but it's not like Misty or something like that, or like, hey, you're gonna be my rival, like, alright, fight me. It's like, no, she was like head over heels in love with you.
She was getting juicy for fighting.
Yeah,
That's all she wanted to do was fight.
And so it's like it kind of took that Misty and Ash kind of dynamic, and it's like, all right, we already know like where this is going. Like, all right, you two like each other. Like, and I was okay with it.
To me, it seemed like she had Gary's personality with like
without the arrogance almost.
Without the arrogance,
like,
but more caring and more charisma.
Yeah.
Nurture, like a frenemy.
I suppose
Yeah.
the better way to say it would be it's Gary's fighting like thought like style on fighting, but then like Misty's personality.
Friendly rival. I wouldn't even call her an enemy.
Like what we are.
Yeah.
We are friendly rivals on
Frivals.
damn near frivals. Yes. Frival goes
I
west.
think the word is frenemies.
Yeah. But no, I really liked Penny. I thought she was absolutely adorable. I thought her story was actually pretty clever.
Yeah.
Even though the quest lines themselves we'll get into.
We'll talk about that.
I actually agree. Arvin, I hated at first. I thought he was a total fucking douche.
Oh,
See, but that's
douchebag.
the story makes you feel that way towards him.
And then I ended up really liking him in the end.
Because you find out like he actually has motivation for doing what he's doing, how he feels.
And I think that's the biggest thing is he has proper character motivation.
Absolutely.
No one else does.
And proper character development too. It's not just something where he's thrown in here and it's like, boo-hoo, you have to like me. It's you hate him off the bat, and then you learn more and more, and you realize like, oh crap, he's been through a lot. Like, and his Pokemon's been through a lot. And there was one point where I honestly,
all teared up, he cried.
I did not cry,
I almost did.
but I came close.
That poor
Because
bastard.
you thought the final Herba Mystica was going to be what he needed, and for a little bit you're just like, oh my god,
You're like,
no, it's not going to work.
And then all of a sudden
No, this
you're
is
like,
so
no,
unfair.
they pulled an old Yeller.
Yeah.
Well, you feel bad for Arvin too, just because
Yeah.
it's like with the whole obviously spoilers because this game's been out for a while now, but like even when you get into the crater.
Oh yeah, and you find out what's
all
going on
with his mom or dad, depending on which version you have. But like,
is it his dad in Violet?
Mine's
I
Dr.
see.
Turo.
Oh,
which is his dad.
gotcha,
I don't
yes.
remember what the woman's name
I don't
is.
remember her name.
Oh shit, Sada.
Yeah,
Sada, Professor Sada.
but
Because I kept wanting to call her Sade.
but yeah, his whole thing with like basically feeling like he was abandoned, like
Yeah.
that's some of the most character development some of them have ever really had.
So, and that's the thing is, Nimona, she's got great personality throughout the game, but absolutely zero character development.
Right.
She is just what she is at the beginning is literally what she is at the end.
Yeah.
And Arvin actually
Has
develops
a
through
full
the
arc.
whole has a full arc. So
Even kind of Penny.
Penny
Once
has about a
you-
half
and
of an arc.
and Penny has half.
Hers,
arc,
she
yeah.
really doesn't have anything, and then all of a sudden when you hit a certain waypoint with her, it's like they dump a lot of exposition about her on with you, and then you're like, oh, okay, all the stuff she does makes sense, and then they kind of started building her from there. So it's like, okay, so she's got a bit of a character growth at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah, which I suppose we'll actually just talk about the story in general. It's unfortunately it's a common thing with a lot of open world games. Story is, and it was the same issue I had with Breath of the Wild. Story is basically non-existent until the final 5%.
Mm-hmm.
It's sprinkled here and there. You get little bits of it throughout.
It's
but
so funny because I even made it I sent a message to you when I first started playing it, and I'm just like, holy crap, this game is dialogue heavy, and they were basically going through as if a person had never played this game before, which I understand.
Right.
They have to, you have to start from point zero. For somebody this is their first Pokemon game.
Right.
But holy cow, do they over-explain everything. And then you go through the whole middle of the game and there's no
It's just
exposition.
dead.
Nothing. You just go from one thing to the next with no understanding of why you're going in that direction.
Right.
I would rephrase it slightly. I think it depends on which story you're doing. There is sparsity. Because, the gym one, I think there's basically no story. It's non-existent.
You basically just meet the Elite Four and the gym and the champion
Yeah.
through the gyms. That's it. You meet, what was her name? Rika.
I just...
Hassel, the little baby girl thing,
And then
that.
what was it? Because there was Jim, there was
Gita.
Team Star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was
There
the three pads.
Yeah, that story. I think the Star story was non-existent until the end, for the most part, it's their motivation is so weak. I'm kind of like, nah.
Well, they were purposely kind of only giving you a little bit of information with each person from Team Star that you were taking out. Then you would find out a little bit more about.
But it was so
what
little,
they're-
it might as well either not have been there or give me give me more.
Sure.
Whereas I think the Arvin story, after every step, it was like, here's a chunk of story about what's going on with him.
Yeah, and it was
His
actually
was
really
like-
sizable. Yeah.
In a weird way, I think it's like they wrote his story, and then we're kind of like, oh wait, he's not the main story. We kind of have to do these other ones, so they kind of like built filler arcs with the gyms and Team Star to spread his story out.
Well, it was weird because his felt like the main story, because that's how you get all your upgrades to your riding Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's the focus of the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like his parent.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't
almost
see-
it almost feels like the story between like the gyms and the Team Star shit
Is filler.
is filler
Yeah.
because you have to have a team. We'll name a Pokemon game that doesn't have a team. You'd be hard pressed to find one other than like maybe
The
the,
dungeon
offshoots.
ones.
Yeah, the
Well,
dungeon ones.
And to be quite honest, this was one of the first games where usually like, okay, you have Team Rocket and all of like whatever the other ones are from like the other generations.
Yeah.
And then this generation you obviously have Team Star, so you're thinking like, oh, these are the bad guys and stuff like that. And then you find out they're not bad guys.
No.
There's nothing, they're not trying to take over the world. It's literally people who have just been like bullied. So they form their own like squad.
But if you
Yeah.
pay attention to the story, they weren't even really bullied.
Not really.
No,
They
weren't.
wanted to battle and do stuff at school, and it was just kind of like, just go over there and leave us alone. And they took that as bullying.
Penny, I think, was the only one that was actually bullied.
Yeah, because she got picked on.
Yeah.
But the rest of them was just, like, they became friends with Penny, and it was just well, any little slight is a very major slight. It's like, no, you just got told to shut up and go away and leave someone alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You
then
wanted to constantly fight. You wanted to stop other people from fighting. You
And
wanted.
then-
It's like you became the bully by like doing what you
Yeah.
were doing.
And then wasn't there was some allusion to the fact that it's like there was a lot of corruption in the Pokemon school? I didn't make that up, did I?
They make it seem
Because
like
they
the
said-
school is evil
Well, yeah,
because the
because
school
they said
didn't
something
defend
about
them.
like
The school
no,
kicked them
no.
out. The school didn't.
But
do
there
all
was
this
one
stuff.
point in the game where they said like every one of the professors or whatever was like replaced like within the last year.
Oh God, I have no idea.
Oh, I thought that they said
What kind of
something
fan
like that.
fiction have you been reading?
No, shut up.
No,
I know I
I
didn't make
think
that
a
up.
couple. I
Remember
think a
that.
couple of the professors they talk about being replaced with someone else, but yeah,
Yeah, I thought it had to do with like the bullying and stuff, and then they were
The
trying to cover it up
headmaster
or
was
something like that.
replaced.
Yes, the
That
headmaster was.
Clavel
Yeah,
is new, or
old new something
oh
like
God,
that. I
I
can't
hate
remember.
his disguise thing was stupid.
Clive.
Clive. Which now he's the protagonist of Final Fantasy 16.
What haircut or what hairstyle did you give him?
Give him.
Apparently, you can give him like a hairstyle.
Can you really?
You can.
He
It's
only
based
ever had
on the questions.
pompadour.
I think it's based on the questions when he asks you what hairstyles are cool.
So I only found this
I
out.
never knew that.
I only found this out after the fact because after I had done all of the Team Star stuff, and I think before I finished the game, I went back to his office, and he was asking me questions about like, well, what haircut do you think is
Really?
like hip these days? So if you don't actually tell him what's hip or whatever that is, you'll just encounter him with
Like
some
that
random
pompadour thing?
I got the pompadour.
Me too.
Yeah, and I'm just like, who told this guy that pompadours are cool? Like, what is this, 1970?
I'm a student.
Yeah, I'm a student.
Which I'll get
Who
into
looks like-
something about that.
who
but
looks
yeah.
like he's 60 years old.
Yeah. No, I didn't, honestly, like, once you
Yeah.
leave the school, I never went back.
No,
Like, there's,
and
like,
there's-
classes you can do. There's, like,
I did all of them.
relationships
Well,
you
and
can
that's
form.
and that's a thing, and actually, that's one of my cons with this game is that it wanted to do so many things, but it really didn't go about it in a good way because nothing is there's nothing to reinforce you like going to class. There's nothing to
Right.
reinforce you to go back to to Mezagoza. There's nothing to reinforce you to do any of that stuff. There's
Right.
it seems like it was lost. Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh hey, it can do this and this and this, and then they forgot to tell you like, oh, by the way, you can do this and this and this.
Yeah, because
I say I did all the classes and everything. I did all of that.
I didn't do
any of it.
I didn't do any of it.
I formed a relationship with the nurse. That was it, and she gives you stuff.
Oh.
But like you could apparently like talk to your professors and like harbor a relationship, not like
I know what you mean.
It's a kids game.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna be hanging and banging. But
yeah, friendships.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they'll like give you shit, but like I never saw the incentive to because they don't give you anything that makes the game.
And that's the reason I did it. I was
Yeah.
hoping that once you did all of those, like, I don't want to call them storylines, but those little like quest lines. I was hoping, oh, hey, you did all of these, so you'll get something special. I don't remember getting anything for doing all of them.
No, it would have been neat if you got like a certain Pokemon that you couldn't really get anywhere else or something. You know, like the nurse has a, I don't know, fucking. Help me out here. Something.
Well,
I have some sort of Pokemon that's not in the
I know
region,
there are a couple of students in the school that if you talk to them at certain points, you can trade, and then even in the towns. But you could trade from other regions, like Pokemon from other regions. Grab some of these regions to get Pokemon from other regions.
Or they give
so
you.
I have Pokemon that aren't in the Pokedex.
Or they
That
give you a
makes
special
sense.
item or something like that your Pokemon can carry that you can only specifically get from that character.
Yeah, I don't. There might have been something, but I don't remember there being anything.
Now that I think about it, they're really. Usually, I make my Pokemon hold a lot of things to boost like stats or whatever.
Oh yeah, sure.
I really didn't do that at all in this game. I don't think my Pokemon ever held anything other than like the Shell Bell, where you get life back based on like a percentage of how much damage you did.
I think I only used 2 things. One was to improve my chance of getting critical hits. I can't remember what that one's called. And then there was one
Like
that
a scope lens or something like that.
maybe. But then there was one that was like a vial of something that was like it makes your Pokemon stronger for I guess a limited amount of time because then it runs out.
That's actually the items I used. There were items that actually boost stat growth based on which ones you were holding. They're infinite. They just stay on them until you hit level 100 and you can put them on another Pokemon.
Oh, see, because there was one that when I was maybe it said that it was empty, but then I just had to like go to a Pokemon center.
No, because there were items you could equip that boosted certain stats, and I'm like, well, this Pokemon's a special attack, so he's got this one that boosts that.
Is it one of the ones that where it like boosts it but lowers another?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because
yes.
There's one where you have it equipped and it halves your speed or something like that.
Yeah, that's the one I used. Because I didn't care for the speed.
No, but the thing is, it only halves your speed while it's equipped.
Right.
So you get in this stat growth, so once it's finished leveling up and you take that thing off, you're like, oh god, this dude's fast.
Yeah.
But I thought it would also alter the stat growth. It wouldn't gain the stat.
He doesn't gain as much speed, still gain.
There's different ones. So the one that I used was one that ups your attack and your special attack, and then it decreases greatly your speed. So that's what I use because the only time I really had trouble in the game was against Professor Sada. And so in yours it would have been Professor Turo. Yeah. So I tried to use whatever I could in order to up my power.
The only other items I remember holding were ones that would boost friendship. For Pokemon that there was, I think there was
that
one
evolved with the friendship.
there was ones that evolved with friendship during.
Yeah.
So I think I used that and that was it.
I feel like Chansey does that with
turns
into
and
Blissey.
to get
Sylveon does too.
Yes, Sylveon and Umbreon.
Umbreon was you needed
one.
it
At night,
evolve it, and then Espeon you did it with.
Espeon was the other one.
Which is funny because I ended up finding an Umbreon and an Espeon just out in the wild.
Same.
So.
And that's one thing I really actually liked too about this, which again came from like Arceus and Sword and Shield, is I like seeing the Pokemon in the wild.
Yes.
I think that was a good touch that they should have done. I mean, obviously you couldn't really do it, I suppose, in the 2D ones, and Sword and Shield was kind of the first actual full 3D, wasn't it? Well, no, Sun and Moon was.
Yeah, there was a handheld one.
X and Y was. Jesus Christ.
There's a handheld one that's rendered in full 3D.
I feel like X and Y...
But it's a locked 2D camera.
I feel like X and Y was almost like 2.5D.
Yeah,
it wasn't full 3D.
Right.
Sun and Moon probably was the first real like 3D.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't...
But either way, yes, I love the fact that you could see what you were going after. I think it really helps to want to, like, it motivates a gamer to, like, go through and capture everything that you can find. And when you see something new, it's like, oh my god, I have to have it.
That's I spent so much time like right out of the school, like before I did any of like the first starting stuff. I think I was at over 100 things in the Pokedex.
Oh
yeah,
sure.
you can fill it up pretty quick.
Yeah,
pretty quick.
I think as of right now, I'm probably in like the 180, 190.
The only stuff I don't have is the stuff from the end game for Violet.
Oh,
I have everything else in the Pokedex.
Oh,
like
wow.
all
the future forms.
Future forms.
I don't have any of the Paradox forms for the future.
Yeah, that's Paradox Pokemon. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I even have all the secret legendaries. So.
What were the secret legendaries?
You have to find all the stakes in the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, did you ever come across the stakes?
I found some of the stakes.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch in each region, and then there's a big door that's sealed shut that has a legendary Pokemon in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Is that what you use your Master Ball for?
No, I caught all of those easily.
Oh.
I didn't even use my Master Ball. I used it on accident to catch, I think, like a... Fuck, what did I try to catch? I accidentally used all my Ultra Balls, and it just goes to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I used a Master Ball on something, and of course I had the autosave on.
Ooh.
So I quickly...
Shut down.
Yeah. I'm like, nope. I think it was like a Blissey or something.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, that ain't happening.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, so... Let's see. What else do we like?
Oh, well, design-wise, I suppose we were talking about seeing Pokemon in the wild. There was one major drawback to it, because we might as well parallel while we're talking about it.
Oh, true.
I don't know if it happened. Well, I know it happened to you, because we've talked about it. But you go into an area where there's the herd of Tauros, and all of a sudden you get into a fight. And what do the Tauros do? They stand 5 feet away and glare at you, and then as soon as they bull rush you. And all of a sudden you're just immediately into another battle.
Yeah, so that happened to me a couple times.
I had Pokemon standing on top of me in the middle of battles. I'm like, go away.
But there was also one thing that would drive me nuts too, is the fact that I would try to get to a Pokemon. I would end up being intercepted by another one. Mm-hmm. And I could see it as I'm battling, so I'm like, oh, thank God it's still there. So I'm battling. I knock out that Pokemon, and then I go to try to get to the other one, and
it ran away.
It disappears.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't even run away, it just disappears.
That's what I called it, run, when they fade off.
Maybe that's what it is, but it's
that's
just
what
but
I
it would drive me
it.
nuts, like, how, like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah, that's...
No, but you said, what's something else you like? I honestly, one thing that I did really like is it felt very Metroidvania, the way that you get the Herba Mysticas, and then it gives you the abilities with your riding Pokemon, like, okay, you can jump, you can scale walls, you can glide, you can swim. It was a nice way of having something that is basically your HM pincushion.
Oh, yeah.
Without having to actually find the HMs and then give them to a Pokemon.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty clever
it was.
thing.
And it
really
really felt, and it truly felt, why I say it's like Metroidvania-ish, is because it really felt like that, because once you had the ability to glide, then it's like, oh man, you've just kind of unlocked some additional areas, or you could travel the map a hell of a lot faster than you were before.
Yeah.
And the ability to go up the walls is that was really nice.
See, I must have broken the game.
Why?
Because the moment I got, I think the jump ability.
The double jump, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was the double jump, but they were like, okay, in order to continue on this path, I had to go through Team Star headquarters. I'm like...
Just jump right over it?
No, I jumped across a river, ran all the way around the map, and was doing stuff. I had all of the quick travel points before I had all of the abilities to glide. All of the abilities.
Interesting.
So so to me they were pointless.
Oh,
other than glide and climb to get up to the top of the mountains for a few spots, they were pointless.
For my playthrough, they were my saving grace was the abilities of Koraiden.
Oh, see,
and I really liked it.
I love the concept of it, but it just, because there was enough workarounds to just say, I don't have to do it. I found my way through it by being, the idiot I am. So
well, and I have to say, too, because I think it was you guys who told me that there's, rideable Pokemon. And when I first heard about that, or, from you guys, I'm just thinking to myself, wow, what a stupid thing. what could they make it look like? Like a car, like a bike? Like, how is that going to be, like, cool? And I was pleasantly surprised that I actually liked the design of Koraiden a hell of a lot more than I thought I was.
Yeah, I was the same way when I first saw the two. I'm like,
yeah.
Especially Miraiden, because he looks like a motorcycle. Because he's got the wheel.
Cyclizar does too. Like,
Yeah.
he literally looks like a motorcycle.
There's a reason these two look like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. But when I first saw them, like, those are stupid.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I'm like, all right, it's actually kind of
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
But actually, that brings up a good point with Cyclizar is, I like a lot the fact that your legendaries
are tied to him.
Are not really legendaries, if that makes sense.
No, they're paradox forms of Cyclizar.
Yeah. Cyclizar is the present form, and then
yours is the future form.
Mine's the future form.
Ours was the past.
Yep.
So theoretically, if you think about it, in the past, there's all sorts of Koraidens or Miraidens or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the future, there's all sorts of so really, your legendary is not a legendary.
He's only
legendary in your timeline. So it's like, I kind of really like that thought.
Interesting.
And even then, he's technically not a legendary because you can catch a second one of yours.
Yes, I caught the second one. Yeah, but then
so that
the
doesn't
second
make
one that you
so
can
that
catch,
actually, according to Pokemon, lowers them from legendary to whatever the next one down.
But the thing with that is that even though you have the Koraiden with all the abilities and stuff, you can't battle with him
until the end.
Until you get the actual one that you catch, then you can battle with him. And I thought that was kind of cool, that it's like you still get a chance to catch that Pokemon so that you can actually use him in battle.
Yeah, it was, like I said, I thought that was actually kind of an interesting idea because they've never done that with, like, I think they're called Mythicals, where there's only one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
The Mythicals are like the rarest of the rare legendaries.
Yeah, which is usually like your
the one-offs.
Yeah, because I think
so. It's not part of like the legendary trios. It's not the box Pokemon. There's usually another Pokemon that's like the mythical Pokemon.
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, I actually really liked that idea of that when they brought that up. Let's see, what else do I got here? I like the Let's Go auto battle feature. Where you just let them go out and murder everything. So, I like it a lot.
I had issues with it because mine bugged out.
Oh, see, and that's,
we talked about it because I had an issue. I don't know if you ran into it, but I had Pokemon that were it's one level away from leveling up and evolving.
Yeah.
Well, if I used that feature, they would not evolve.
Yeah, see,
which is a glitch.
I didn't have that problem.
You said that yours evolved when you did them that way.
Yeah.
So apparently either I screwed something up in my game or ran into a bug.
I didn't have an issue with that, and that's because I continually forgot that
it was a feature?
That it was a feature, that by pushing L or R, whatever it is, they come out and they can attack. And that, honestly, to me, was like one of my cons, is the fact that I thought, it's a nice feature so that you can just clear stuff without having to like deal with it and get locked into battle, so it kind of makes things quicker.
You get only a fraction of the experience.
You get, I think it's like a fourth or maybe a third or something like that. And it's funny because you can actually lose health while you're doing it too, the more you use it. So it's like, oh, okay, that's an interesting concept. But I don't feel like they did enough to like remind you that, hey, like it would have been nice if there was a couple points where it's like you had to do that.
They're called Team Star bases.
The Team Star path, that's all the battles were in those bases.
True.
Until you go through, you beat like 100 Pokemon that way and then fight the boss.
30, which was stupid.
Honestly, you just go in with the type thing.
I think because
I went
of
in
the
just with my starter, and he was like, "No."
I think because of the way that those Team Star bases were set up. No, how it was the same way. It's like defeat 30 Pokemon. It's like, oh, now it's gonna be real tough. Defeat 30 Pokemon in 10 minutes. It's like, wait,
it takes like
what?
30 seconds.
It on average it took me like 2 minutes and 8 seconds or whatever it was. But it's like as you progressed through Team Star and you got closer to finishing that, I thought that they were going to make it more difficult throughout. Like, okay, at the last base, it's like, nope, you got 5 minutes to do it. And it's
throw in a new gimmick for each base.
Or throw in a new gimmick. But either way, because of how repetitive it was, it felt boring, and it just felt like
Yep,
another
sure.
obstacle that I had to get past in order.
And that's actually one of my biggest
Yeah.
complaints with the game is the star path, because of the way it's like copy and pasted
it
repeatedly.
literally copy and
I
paste.
hated it.
They had Rev of Room for the final
Every
thing at every
frickin'
base.
time.
Every base. So if you
Every
knew
time.
once you beat that first Rev of Room, he's Poison Steel. You know what to go in with. But I mean, that's an issue I'll bring up. Well, I mean,
Might as well do it.
unless
now.
you guys have anything additional to add for positives.
The explorability to me. There was not only like the plains like that you walked around, and you got vertical with the mountains. There were caves you could go into underneath.
Yes, that was
which
cool.
is where I found my badass Lucario that I beat the game with.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot to explore.
The caves they felt massive too.
Yeah.
Like,
But that was the thing, is that the caves felt so massive that
You
it was
get
like,
lost.
yeah, it was easy to get lost. I didn't care.
Especially
for
too since they weren't on the map.
that. Yeah.
So like once you were in the cave, it just showed you on the world map, and you were like, "Where am I?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
wish
they-
that there was a map.
If the
to
map
it.
had changed to like show you the spidering of the cave, it would have made
yeah,
more-
that's I would have liked
little
maps
easier.
for underground.
So, I mean, personally, one of the things that I liked, although it will go into kind of the con portion too, is that I like how you had the three separate storylines. Because it felt like if you got bored with the champion route, then just go to Team Star. If you got sick of the Team Star stuff, then go look for the Herba Mystica.
Yeah,
it was
like the
nice how you
Titans.
almost had three different games in one, so that it kind of took you out of the monotony if you needed it.
Yeah.
And I really did like that piece of it.
I think the Titan path to get the herbs was
the
probably my
best.
favorite.
That was my
I
favorite,
liked
too.
fighting the giant Pokemon, even though they
Yes.
were easy. But I liked the thought of it,
Mhm.
and I liked the idea of it.
Well, and that's the three paths were like really cool concept, not well executed.
No.
Yeah. No, and that's why it turns into one of the cons, is that it literally, like, in the first generation, Team Rocket was there throughout everything, and they intertwined it really well with your
Oh yeah.
with the route that you had to go in order to get like all your badges and stuff, because
But not only that, but then you have Silphco you have to go through, which is taken over
exactly.
by Team Rocket.
You've got the Celadon corner. You've got
Exactly.
all this other stuff where they're tied into. Like, it's almost like a roadblock where it forces you to have to interact and find out the Team Rocket story.
Which, I mean, Giovanni, the leader of Team
Yeah.
Rocket's your 8th badge.
Was literally the
Yeah.
8th badge. I loved how they intertwined everything. With this, it's like you had three separate stories. So easy to take something like the Herba Mystica storyline, the Team Star, and your champion route. Just intertwine them. Make them where one builds onto the other, builds onto the other.
Someone from
It
Team
just
Star
seems-
takes the herb.
Yeah. And then you have to chase down or track down
Yeah.
the herb from them, or somebody from Team Star. You kick them out of Team Star because they say like they can't they can no longer be in Team Star because they were defeated. Well, guess what? Then all of a sudden it's like one of your next champion battles for gym badge, and you find out that this person was so good that they ended up in
Yeah.
as a gym leader.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I mean,
Or a gym leader that fell from grace kind of thing, and now he's in Team Star.
there you go.
Yeah, there was a lot of ways
There was
they
a
could
lot
have
of
intertwined.
different storylines that they could have used to intertwine them, but it felt like it was just it was missed.
And that's kind of the overall theme I have for negatives is missed opportunities. Like you said, you have 3 different paths. The biggest folly between the 3 is the difficulty stays the same between all 3.
Yeah,
So if you do all of the Titan route,
which I unfortunately did
That's-
first because
I did the same.
Once I realized that you could build up your rider basically and then really traverse the map quite effectively, I'm like, all right, screw this, I'm going through
Yeah.
the Titan route.
and once you've beaten the last Titan and beaten Arvin, even though you and I shared a moment, he's the first one that I've actually lost against.
He was tough because you find out that you were going out of order at that point.
And he's got level 60 Pokemon, and
Mhm.
I was like 55 maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like, I got my ass handed to
I was
me.
low 50s when I first started up against him.
But, I mean, theoretically, once you beat Arvin, you can't do anything with his path until you've cleared the other two.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're level 60. You go to let's say you've done one gym, you go to the second gym, they're level 10.
Yeah.
16.
The second gym, I think they're level like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
But either
it's
way,
so low it
super
doesn't
low.
matter.
Super low, you're going to
Yeah.
walk all over them.
Yeah, so it's like they needed a way, because you can do the gyms out of order. Because, like,
there was no right order to do I don't think they actually had an order to them.
I suppose there kind of was.
There's only a couple of them. There's only a couple of them that I think require...
The psychic one I did out of order. I think the town was Alfarnata, the one in the lower left.
Oh, yeah.
The psychic girl.
Yeah.
Her Pokemon were level 40.
Oh, I see what you mean by out of order.
She was the third badge I did.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
beat the first two, like the grass one and the bug one or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and theirs were jokes, as they usually are.
Of course. Yeah.
And then hers was level 40, and now I'm like, well, I have all these other badges to do, and I'm sure they're all going to be no problem. It turns into, again, it's a chore.
Yeah.
Now it's just, all right, nothing can hurt me. I'm one-shotting everything. And they needed a way to scale it to be like a true open world game.
Scale the difficulty, so that it's constantly keeping up with you.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're gonna feel like it's just nothing more than a chore, or just it gets dry fast.
The only downside would have been scaling if they would have scaled wild Pokemon, because that would have screwed up getting certain evolutions.
Well, I wouldn't have cared.
And stat growth.
I wouldn't have cared about the wild Pokemon. They can stay the same.
Okay.
It's
the bases, the storyline beats.
Yeah, the storyline needed to stay consistent. Or consistently difficult, because like I said, once you go, like if you're jumping around, everything is so easy. I don't know. It felt like a missed opportunity again.
Yeah.
Because like you said, once you've cleared the Titans, the other storylines are just annoying.
See, I bounced around between everything.
I did it from my first time through too.
I tried not to just blitz through one story. I was like, I'll do one or two for this, then I'll jump over and do this, then I'll jump over to this. Or I did it based on, well, I was exploring this region. Okay, the base is right here. Might as well go do it.
Yeah, I did the same. I kind of did it in the way they quote unquote intended.
But yeah, with the different stories, it felt like, because it didn't converge and it didn't tell a bigger story overall, it really felt like it just created activity for you to do, but didn't add to anything.
And that's what I mean. Like, beyond the Arvin story, it all felt like filler.
Yeah.
Well, it's literally there to pad the game and say, hey, we've got all of this stuff to do. It's like, no. That's like Ubisoft throwing in 1,000 collectibles.
Well, and that's
not adding anything to the story.
And that's actually what I thought, too. Once you get to I keep wanting to call it the Cliffs of Paldea. It's not the cliffs. Like
the crater.
It's the crater.
Area 0.
Yes, Area 0. It's like those last 10 minutes of the game, they throw all of the story at you.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally, it felt like, okay.
The game is just getting going. The game is getting going.
I knew that it was already
over.
I knew it was already near, like, the end. But I'm just like, wow, you're really dropping all this stuff on me.
And it was good.
And it was good.
Yeah.
It was super good. But it literally felt like, okay, they were programming the game and they're like, okay, we can have them attack Team Star. We got this story for Team Star. Like, okay, that's fantastic that you've got that route. And then, of course, we got our 8 gym trainer badges. We got all that stuff. They can do that. All right, good. Looking good. And it's like, oh, guess what? We're going to throw in this little, like, okay, they've got to get this mystical herb. So that's another story. It's, okay, great. So what's the story? What do you mean, what's the story? It's, oh, shoot, we were supposed to tell a story, weren't we? And then they were like, okay, shoot, all right, let's throw it in this Area 0. Let's throw in the whole thick of the story. And that's literally what it felt like.
Yeah, and like I said, when I first did it, I messaged Kevin. I was like, "Dude, this is really good."
Yeah,
it's
like I
my
liked
favorite
the
part of
idea.
game.
Yeah, I did too.
Though the one thing I will say with like the way they did the center, I have a feeling like it almost felt like we should have been introduced to Arvin's mom slightly more.
Or dad, depending on which one.
Because there were the at the waypoint stations that you could find, there was like the books you could read on each floor.
Yeah.
But it felt like some of those pieces should have been out in the world for us to discover rather than just there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That was another thing, too, that sort of... It didn't really bug me. I guess I got used to it. But it felt like it was a very expansive world that you could travel with mountains and valleys and plains, and you had everything. But at the same time, and I'm not sure if this was just me or if you guys felt the same way, but you have this really expansive world, but at the same time, it felt empty.
That's a common open world game.
There just wasn't. It felt like I would rather just be able to like go to a town where, like, in the original like generations, where it's like, okay, you have to go into each building, and in this one, it's like you get into a town and you're just like, all right, I guess
there's the gym.
Just find me the gym. Like,
right.
You can go into some of the buildings, but it's literally the same thing. Like, oh, you can buy food for your Pokemon. It's like, oh, you can stop here to heal your Pokemon.
There might be a random townsperson who will give you something or trade you a Pokemon, but other
it's
than
not.
that,
but it's not special enough to make you want to search it out.
Right. There's no incentive to the towns.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another gripe of mine, is the fact that the customization of your character is piss poor minimal.
Oh, it's a joke.
It's very
compared
minimal.
to like X and Y, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon.
To be
Very
stuck in
minimal.
school
fucking
uniform
dumb.
Yeah.
It was one of my biggest complaints. You guys know me. I'm a fashion maven over here. I love changing how my character looks. In games, dude, how many times when we did Soul Sacrifice
or Outriders,
did I just change the way I look?
Every mission, he'd stop in and he had to alter the way he looked.
Yeah, I like to alter
Every
colors.
time.
I like to alter my outfits. I did it in
God Eater. You do it all the time in God
Eater. It's like
I know you're not into Harry Potter, but you probably love the frickin' Harry Potter game,
Hogwarts
Legacy, because you can customize your character like at any point, and you actually get like outfits throughout the game.
But like I was baffled at the because I usually every time I get to a new town, I'm like, all right, where are the clothes? Let me see what I can put on. Nope,
nothing.
Shoes,
only at the beginning.
Socks, hats,
gloves,
backpacks, gloves. Otherwise, you're stuck in that fucking uniform.
I mean, you could choose one of 3 uniforms: summer, winter, and the
fall. 4 each season.
Oh,
the expansion now gives you another 4 seasons.
I think I picked summer because I got the shorts and the tall socks
I did winter.
or
I
something
think the blazer.
Which if I had known that's what it was like I was going to be stuck with that throughout the game, I probably wouldn't have picked it because...
Oh, no, you can switch it at any time.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
It's like left on the D-pad.
Oh,
I think I swapped between autumn and winter.
I didn't know you could switch which school version of the school uniform you were using until halfway through the game.
Yeah.
But it was just... I was like, that seems so bizarrely sparse for an open world game and a very poor choice.
Well, and part of it, too, I think... I don't know how much, but it in some of the advertising, it felt like they were hyping up how much customization you would have to have almost none.
Like Sword and Shield, I was okay with having to be stuck in the challengers outfits, like the jersey, the shorts.
You only wore those
when you were in the gyms.
Yeah,
I thought that was actually kind of a cool idea. I love Sword and Shield. Actually,
that's because Sword and Shield, it was a sport. It wasn't just a do this thing.
And it's funny. Like the more I played this, the more I'm like, but I really like Sword and Shield.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I have to say, I love Ruby Sapphire. Gen 3 is my favorite. I think I might like Sword and Shield the most, though. Like, I think that was a spot-on generation. In terms of design, graphics, the way the game feels. The only thing it's missing, like everything else, is no voice acting. I can't believe they are still in this era of no voice acting for these games.
That's just Nintendo, though. That's.
I mean, to be quite honest, it saves cost for them having to pay the voice actors.
But still,
but
I mean, for
to be quite honest,
Titan IP like this,
yeah.
Can you imagine though if there was like good solid voice acting for like Arvin when you're going through the Mystica with his Mabostiff. Why for some reason I can never. I don't know.
It's not boss.
But when you when you finish the 5th Titan, can you imagine like that? Probably would have been like I would have lost it.
Are you kidding? Even that final fight with the Robo Professor.
Yeah.
That
was the AI professor,
with the glitching AI. I'm like, dude, the voice acting would have been phenomenal. I remember in Sword and Shield when they do that opening of how grand and glorious the sport is, and it's just dead quiet.
Yeah.
No voice acting.
Or
You
that
just see
annoying
lips move, you're like,
chanting.
Can you?
You're like,
can you
get
imagine?
the
That's the thing I
fuck
didn't
outta
like was
here.
like the chanting got annoying.
Combine when you are when you have like your fight with Toru or Turo or Sada, and imagine like the Campbell from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lalo Lalu.
It's. I mean that.
Lali,
Oh my
Lalo,
god.
Lu.
Yeah, that's it. Lali Lalo Lu.
I can't praise that ending enough. I truly enjoyed that. The fact that like his parent is, for all intents and purposes, is dead. Like his parents
Has
didn't
been
make
dead
it.
for a long
Yeah,
time.
didn't,
Well,
didn't make it back.
Ours
Yeah.
had been dead for a long time. Yours could still be alive in the future.
Yeah. Well, no, he's dead too.
Oh, that's right, because
I think
explosion.
I think they confirm it. Yeah.
But it's just.
But yeah, definitely.
Just even like the text starts glitching and the way the character
Nice.
like he looks, it was
Yeah.
phenomenal looking. I was
Yeah.
like, where was this throughout the other 30
Well,
hours I spent? On
I
this?
do have a question. During that, like the entire down section in there, did it feel like the graphics took a bump?
Like up?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like
I think it's
That
because
area was gorgeous.
I
The
think it's
music
bec-
was spot on gorgeous
I think it's
too.
because
it's not rendering everything else at the same time
no,
anymore.
and I think it's just
So
because
it's
of
like-
the colors. The colors pop.
Yeah.
But
It
like
was a beautiful
especially when
area.
you're in that room and there's the entire cutscene where the thing goes up and they're standing on
That
top.
was cool.
Like the graphics at that section, I'm like, why didn't the rest of the game look like this?
Which I can forgive because, like you said, it's rendering that entire world. And I don't know about you guys, but there's very little load time other than quick traveling.
Ubisoft also has massive worlds like that are far more detailed that don't have load time.
Yeah, but
So this is one of those things where
But
it's
keep in mind,
this is what one of my cons was going to be like.
Yeah.
Is how much of this is should they have said we're not releasing this on the Switch and wait for a new Switch?
The hardware is
I
catching
still-
up to it.
I
The
still
hardware
think-
is holding Nintendo back
That's
much.
I'm sorry. That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
I still think that
It
for,
still looked
for what
great.
it is, it's good.
Well,
Yeah.
graphically, that was one of my cons. Is Sword and Shield looked better,
Yeah. It was
and everybody looked better. The frame rates of some of the Pokemon in the world
not
looked
that them
terrible.
not that dropping down to like 5 frames a second when they're more than 10 feet away from
Well,
you.
the
and it's-
popping.
It's funny because this one actually felt like from that point when I say glitchy, I mean it seemed the most unpolished and unfinished of a Pokemon game that I've ever seen.
right.
Where
right.
if somebody was like you said, more than 10 feet away from you, like if you're in a city and you can actually see the person like just kind of stagger along, and it's like
10
oh my
frames a second.
and I'm just
it's-
like, oh my god, it's like it looks robotic. Or the
Yeah, yeah.
Pokemon that look like it's like skipping and stuff.
Well-
or some of the battles too. I don't know if you
Oh yeah, I know.
if you experienced it, but it's like where all of a sudden it's like sometimes your perspective would just be so like out of whack that it's like you're looking half on the
I had my
ground,
camera
half underneath.
under the map. I don't know how many times.
It-
that I never had.
I
an
got
issue
split half and half a couple times.
with. I never had that issue. Mine was more like I had issues with like you would encounter a Pokemon, the fight would start, and he would almost look like he was in Pokemon Stadium. Where it's like blocky and shitty, and then all of a sudden,
Oh, see, I never saw that.
It
Yeah, no,
graphically gets better.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
never
resolution
saw
gets
that.
it. I
I
had
also
that a
had
couple times.
really bad slowdown in battles,
Battles were a little bit,
especially with like some of
slow.
like the ultimate moves for some of the Pokemon. I was like, you can notice it when they're terrestrializing.
There was only one time where the game actually froze on me. And
Really?
and I had to start I just had to close out of it and open it back up again. But that's never happened to me before in like any game really on the Switch. So I was not expecting that. So I mean it was pretty much like they utilized all capacity they had on that game.
But that was actually a very, very big issue at launch was how buggy and glitchy the game is.
And like the patches did help with it, but it's still
it hasn't corrected everything.
I personally never encountered a glitch. I had no issues with anything. I didn't have any game breaking issues that
I'm just happy
you know,
I'm just happy that none of the glitches I encountered were like game breaking.
yeah.
I had a falling glitch once where I got stuck in the environment and my character was stuck in the fall animation.
See, I've had that happen.
And then all of a sudden he fell for like 2-3 minutes and then it teleported me back to where I jumped from.
That's
Sounds like,
that happened to me once.
That's not too bad.
I think they accounted for that because I had that too where I got stuck on like a chimney or something for like a minute and then it would pop me back to where I was.
And then and then my camera going through things was another issue.
Yeah, the camera could
like
go
if all of
through.
a sudden I'm walking trying to pick up like a shiny spot on the ground and then a Pokemon walked into me behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my camera's in the mountain now trying to do this fight. I'm like,
yeah. That
so like
happened to
that's
me,
like
too.
that like I think one of the biggest issues with this game is the
Mm-hmm.
camera. The battle camera should have been way more movable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
that's why I liked Arceus because you could walk around.
Yeah,
You could walk around in the middle of battle. I mean, that was you could run and then you could literally run.
So one of the last things that I didn't care for in the game, because we've really hit on a lot of the stuff that I
that's
didn't
my-
like,
Oh, I got a long way to
Is-
go, buddy.
is the terastalizing.
Terastalizing. Oh, God.
I didn't care for it.
To be
It
honest,
just seems so arbitrary.
I liked when it added new types to like Pokemon, but at the same time, it's just like with the Mega Evolutions. It's just like the Z moves.
Dynamax.
Yeah, I
Dynamax.
guess, and I guess
it's
it
just
was,
a gimmick that they're trying to
became-
add on to make it seem new and flashy. But it's like,
Yeah.
how often did you use it?
No, and that's the thing.
Not once.
I used
Same.
it once against Sada because you had to.
Oh yeah.
It's so there's a point where you have to use it.
I don't
But
count
it's
that,
like
though.
the gym leaders would use it on their last
Predictably.
Pokemon every single time on their
Don't
last
get me
Pokemon.
started.
And there came a point where you're just like, okay, I'll meet tit for tat. I'll do that. I'll terastalize with you, and then so you're on equal playing field. But then you get so strong where it's like you can terastalize, and I'm still gonna just run right through you. I'm not gonna do anything.
It was the same thing they did with Dynamaxing and Sword and Shield. They
Yeah.
always did it on their last Pokemon. Their ace, quote unquote.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Which and honestly, terastalizing to me was a missed fucking opportunity. Again.
Yes.
I like the idea of it switching types.
Me too.
Cool.
A fire Pokemon all of a sudden being grass or water or something.
And I did like the designs of it. I like how it looks crystallized, and I like how it adds some kind of like
a crown.
Yeah, like a crown to it, or it really celebrates something about the Pokemon like in it. I like the design of it. I just think it was a
some of them look really
lost
cool. Other ones
opportunity.
you're just kind of like, oh, it's the same one again.
Yeah.
But the point that they squandered the idea was the fact that when the gym leaders do it,
it's always back to
they
their type.
terastalize back to their exact type. Mm-hmm. So you're doing a psychic gym. What's their terastalized
Got a
type?
Teddy Ursa.
Fucking psychic.
Mm-hmm.
It adds 0 to it.
Yeah.
She's pulling out
I think
should have been.
Was it the grass one where it's got the teddy bit? It's got the
Teddy Ursa, which is a normal Pokemon, and it
then
terastalizes
to
into
grass.
to grass. So my fire Pokemon's just as effective against this as it was throughout the other two.
Yeah, you're just sparkly now, and I get to watch you like shatter when I beat you.
They should have broken the mold where you're. I think the psychic one's it's a Florges, which is a fairy type. She should have. It should have been just another psychic type, and then it terastalizes into what would be a counter against fairy or against dark.
Steel.
So you have a dark Pokemon. It would terastalize into fairy.
Yeah.
Fairy would trounce dark, like something like that, to where now you have to rethink your counter.
Yeah.
You can't just walk in with a dark Pokemon and sweep her.
Yeah.
You have to have something else in line. Mm-hmm. That would have been great. Make me rethink my strategy. Give me some depth to this battle.
I think the only one where it changed was that normal guy, wasn't it?
No. I don't think it did.
Did he terastalize that businessman?
I think he... Oh, yeah.
He did.
But I think it was
wasn't-
normal.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't terastalize into anything. I didn't actually even know that there was like that it terastalized into other like other types.
Yeah.
I just thought that it always just accentuated their
the ones you find
their
out
type.
on the map that have like the pillar of light coming off of them. all their Terra type was always a different type than theirs.
Oh,
Same
gotcha.
same
That's
with the
why.
raids. Their Terra types were different than like what you.
That's
would
what he's
encounter.
talking about. Is the raids?
No, there were other ones too.
So
there's ones that you could just find out in the wild.
You see that Pokemon that has like the Goku style energy coming off.
Yeah, the gold pillar.
And if you fight them, their Terrestrialized type was always a different element than their Pokemon.
That's why, because I did a few of the raids.
And
I just never put two and two together that it's like that my fire wasn't affecting a Pokemon, that it's like, I wonder why it's not working this time, and I think I would just power through it.
Well, and the raids also have
I
pump stats and take less damage automatically.
And really, you only kind of felt that once you hit like the 3-star.
Yeah.
2-star was still doable. You could get away with it, but the 3 stars, you really kind of needed to pay attention.
There was actually one, was it a 5-star? That I didn't even end up beating.
No,
I stopped playing the raids after a certain point because the Pokemon I would get just wasn't worth it.
No, it wasn't.
I did them to get the candies.
You leveled up so fast anyways that it didn't matter.
It was more so to bring other team members up to speed because I had specific Pokemon in mind I wanted to use, but I might not get it until later, or I'd decide to use it later, and it's like it was 16 and the rest of mine are 50.
Yeah.
Well, now I gotta pump some candy into it. Like I did it for that, or to get Pokemon early. Mm-hmm. Like I did it to get a what was it? A Dreepy, I think. Even though I ended up not using him. Dreepy, it turns into Dracloak. Ghost Dragon.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that thing hits its final evolution at 60. I said, fuck that.
That's just like Dragonite.
Yeah, guess what its second evolution turns into at what level? 50!
Oh.
I said, I am not keeping this thing as a weak-ass Dreepy until level 50.
Oh, yeah, that's... Yeah.
Fuck it. Yeah, I ended up using Larvesta instead, and I mean, you guys know Volcarona is one of my favorite types. Yeah. But, yeah, like, the terrestrializing to me... Great concept. I think it would have added a layer to battles that would have been interesting.
To be honest, rather than it being a desperation move, like all like the Z moves and all of that, where all of a sudden, you change type. What it should have just been is terrestrialized Pokemon have 3 types flat.
Yeah, I think that would have been interesting.
Because then it would have altered their weaknesses and resistances and stuff like that.
Yeah. God, could you fucking imagine something being 6 times weak to something?
Oh my god.
As if the 4 times wasn't bad enough.
Yeah, but if that's possible, though.
I mean, granted, there also would have been probably a couple that would have been even more, like, broken, because a ghost something...
Bug Ice Rock. Or no, Bug Ice Flying. 6 times weak to Rock.
Okay. Oh, no, and to,
Steel?
lightning. Or electricity.
No, Bug isn't affected by electricity.
Yeah, but most Bug is flying, though.
Not necessarily.
Well.
But anyway, you could see it.
Granted,
3 types would have been interesting. That actually would have.
It would have been the best way to do it. Granted, and this is something Game Freak and the Pokemon Company need to do, anyways. The battle system needs a massive overhaul.
Yeah. Because we constantly hammer. It turns into a one-hit slugfest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And...
My Fuecoco just destroyed most things.
It goes back to even the gym leaders. Stay the fuck away from themed gyms. They need to break away from type-themed gyms now. You've had 9 generations of the same exact shit. Maybe change the gym leaders to where they... I don't know... It's got Pokemon all of food types. You got Fido, you've got Alchemy, you've got all these food-themed Pokemon, and that's it. You'd have a gym leader that you need multiple counters for. Give me some challenge. I get it if this is a person's first fucking game.
Yeah, but they can't have that mentality with every game they release.
Make it. Is this your first Pokemon game? Yes. Okay, now it's an easy mode. Is this your first? No. Well, good. You're going to get a challenge out of this now. They need to do something to give people who have been with Pokemon since Gen 1 a reason to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unfortunately, us playing through for, the single-player thing are a minority amongst Pokemon fans.
I know.
The vast majority of them do the online battling and now the raids and stuff like that, and that's just not for us.
But, they need to do something with the gyms. Even the trainers. Oh my god, the trainers to me are the biggest falling of this game. The trainers out in the field are pointless.
They're number 2 folly for me.
They are pointless. None of them ever have more than 2
No.
that I encounter, and
That
they're
was-
so stupid.
That was weird because I remember back in the day when like a random trainer that you find, like they could have like 5 or 6 Pokemon, and this one it's like most of them only had 1.
And they were weird, like
yeah.
Student Barbara, and it's like a 90-year-old woman with a Clefairy. I was like, the trainers felt dumb.
So this will get down to my biggest complaint is the majority of the trainers were stupid. Like tying almost all of them into the school was dumb. But like trainer design in general for the gyms was trash.
Oh, God.
For like 90% of them.
Oh god, the gym challenges, the gym trials.
And then the gym trials were the
boys.
dumbest.
I forgot about that to add that to my notes.
I almost did until right now. The gym trials, boys.
Push this giant watermelon into the basket.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna give you 50 grand. I need you to win this auction for me.
Just bid the most.
Just bid 50 grand and you fucking win.
Yeah, just bid 50 grand. Yeah.
Snowboard down the mountain.
Or
what did you do for rapping Granny?
10.
What was the challenge for rapping Granny?
I can't.
Did you have to rap battle her?
No, you didn't have to rap battle
did.
her.
You did the for hers. I think it was just you did a duels fight.
Yeah.
Where you sent 2 Pokemon out at once.
Jesus
And there was
Christ,
find 10 floras or something
the
like that.
10 Sunfloras.
Yeah.
I was so
Sunfloras.
fucking agitated by them that it
Yeah.
actually turned me off to doing gyms.
Mm-hmm.
Like that
Because-
was why. Like I said, that's another one of those examples. They added filler because the game didn't have enough to do.
Yeah.
Just give me a puzzle gym.
Mm-hmm.
Give
The
me
Koga gym where the invisible walls.
yes, or Lieutenant Surge where
Or-
you had to find things in the buckets.
What was the trick room one where the different things were happening when you went into different rooms?
That was there was the Sabrina one where you had the tiles.
The
and
teleporters.
stuff.
teleporting
The
tiles.
teleporting
No.
tiles.
There was, I think that was Norman in Ruby Sapphire, where you had to pick the multiple doors, right? The multiple paths to the doors.
Yeah, and each
to
one
get to him?
resulted in different types of fights and stuff.
Yes, that was Norman in the normal type gym in Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, and you know what? I'm going back to the gyms being type themed. None of the gym leaders should ever have less than 6.
Yeah. I don't think
To be
I
a
think-
gym leader
I
with
think-
bug Pokemon and he's got 2 Caterpies and a Butterfree is fucking stupid.
But didn't the gym leaders though? They all had 5 Pokemon, right? No.
No.
Did I just
The grass
not
one and the
remember
bug one both had only 3.
that? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they were
Okay.
super short.
Yeah.
And even like rapping Granny, I think only had 4.
Yeah.
Snowboarding dude had I think 4.
Oh,
I don't think any of
yeah.
them had 6.
No, none of them had 6.
The only
That I
actual
know.
the only actual people who had even 6.
Nimona had 6.
Nimona did, but
Yeah.
I think Gita, the elite champion,
Yes, had 6.
But I don't even think. I think only 2 of the Elite 4 even only had 6.
Maybe.
I don't really remember the Elite 4.
And
too
I don't
well.
think the AI Sada had 6. I think.
she did.
Oh, did she?
I think,
Okay.
or he or she did.
Yeah.
The professor did.
Yeah.
But that was, to me, even the Elite 4. This was the weakest iteration of the Elite Four I have ever seen.
The fact that you have a gym leader who is
Yeah.
also an Elite Four guy, like that to me is just.
I will
lazy.
say this:
No,
I
that's
definitely
lazy.
laughed about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him. I thought
was
he was
funny.
funny. But god damn it, you're in a stagnant room, and then they just come out one by one. That was lame.
Or the
I don't-
quiz before.
Oh god.
The quiz before you did the Elite Four. How'd you do?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna lie. I did great.
Did you actually?
He messaged me when he kept
I
fucking up
almost
on it.
failed it. I got close.
No, I didn't fail it because I freaking I went
looked
to,
it all up?
I looked it all up.
I couldn't remember
the
I couldn't remember the names of the towns. So when they're like, "Oh,
Glass-
what town was this leader in?"
Yeah,
and I'm like,
glass. Yeah.
"What?
Yeah,
they
was,
had names."
Oh, who was the hardest challenge for you? And
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, it was so and so, and they're like, oh,
What
and
type
which,
did they use?
And which town were they in? And I'm just like, well, to Google I go.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
The only reason I
I'm
remembered
not doing
Alfornata
it.
was because it was the lower right and it was the psychic girl.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only reason. Because otherwise, the other ones couldn't
Yeah.
tell you what the town names were.
No.
I couldn't even tell you what their names were.
Yeah.
I mean,
The only town I remember is the one that's on the edge of the desert.
yeah.
Glaciato is the only one that I remember for some reason.
I was like, the Elite Four were dumb. I didn't like... flying is one of the Elite Four types? Flying?
It's one of the only types they haven't done for the Elite Four, so that's why.
And there's a reason for it.
No, wrong. Lance, he was dragon and flying.
But he was dragon flying.
Oh.
But also you have to remember, Lance only had Dragonite and Dragonair.
Dratini.
What were his other dragons? There weren't any in the original.
That's true.
What did he have? He had an Aerodactyl, which is not dragon, and a Gyarados.
And a Gyarados, yeah. Dragon.
No, I don't even think he had a Gyarados.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, Gyarados was his second Pokemon. Then he would have two Dragonairs and then a Dragonite.
So I mean, even Dragon really wasn't the. I hate Dragon.
Well,
Dragon's
and that's one of the big follies of them focusing on typing like they do.
Right.
Like, I get it. It's easier for them to copy and paste and plant the stuff in. They really don't have to think about it when it comes to that stuff. But at the same time,
and you can argue,
at some point, Pokemon has to start getting, like, evolving its thought process. Otherwise, like, people are going to start falling off.
Right.
The way that I see this is that this is a very important step. The Pokemon Company is in a very, like, their next game they have to deliver. Because I feel like with this one, there was enough there that if this is, like, their start to kind of, like, a big new picture, they're heading in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
That momentum needs to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they revert back to what they had been doing, or it's more of just the same stuff, this may be the point of which people start kind of falling off.
Oh yeah,
and saying like, "That's it, I'm done with this." It's just the same stuff.
I'll start finding it used, so I don't have to.
Between the buggy and glitchy and just overall, a lot of people were super unimpressed with this.
But I still feel like it's got the building blocks to really start building into saying like, "Yep, we're giving this a new facelift, or we're going in a brand new direction." Like, this is the first step. It's good enough to be the first step, but they have to really start building on it.
And like I keep saying, at some point you have to stop catering to new players. You have to cater to the people who want to play this.
Well, they could always do like
around.
side games for the newer people and continue like making the mainline stuff.
You can put elements in the game that cater to new players, but don't forget that your base is you still have a lot of people that you have gotten from Gen 1.
Right.
They grew up with your game, and so they're still playing your game. Like, you need to remember that a lot of your audience are returning players.
And it's one of those things, and I think Tim had mentioned this to us once, or I read it somewhere, I can't remember, is the first generation, right? Mm-hmm. Red and blue. Well, red, blue, and green, I guess.
Yellow. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Battling was not the focus of Pokemon.
It was collecting.
It was collecting, trading with your friends. It was the social aspect.
Yeah.
Battle kind of felt tacked on in the first generation. That's why you have so many lopsided types. Mm-hmm. So many, like, Psychic was so OP in the first generation. That's why they introduced Dark in Gen 2 to kind of counteract that. That's not how it is anymore. Battling is basically what the game is now.
Mm-hmm.
You have over 1,000 Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Balancing is an issue, obviously. You're going to have Pokemon there. But, I mean, to be honest, you can take any Pokemon and make it a powerhouse.
Against the computer, anyways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, well, even in PvP, you can turn any Pokemon into a... I mean, you can watch some YouTube videos of this guy who just destroys all legendaries with, like, a Dunsparce. And they get so pissed off and salty, the people who use all the legendaries, because you're getting your ass kicked by a Dunsparce because of the way the battle system is formulated, the way the hold items work, the way stat things work. It's like they need to evolve their battle system.
Yeah.
That's
the second time we've said that in here.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There needs to be some way that they can redo the battle system to make it feel fresh. The Terror Raids I thought were cool because I kind of like that real-time aspect. It wasn't handled the greatest.
Well, and the funny thing is, it's not even real-time. It's
really.
Still the same turn-based thing, but they say, hey, you have a 4-minute timer to beat the Pokemon.
Yeah, and then if your Pokemon gets knocked out, it takes a chunk of your time away. it's interesting. It wasn't handled the best way. I think they could have done better, but I think they could go more of like I don't want to say active time, but
To be honest, no. They need to
something.
switch it to, in battle, we're no longer our trainer, we are the Pokemon. Each face button is a different attack. It has cooldowns. It takes energy.
yeah,
Like, there's so much they could do with an active Tails-style battle system.
yeah,
But, no.
something. There's a lot of different ways it could go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm most disappointed in the fact that the gyms were it's the same old crap. I'm like I said, sick of themed gyms. Do different themes. You have 1,000 Pokemon to choose from, and in this game alone, there's over 300.
Well,
You can scrounge up.
that's another thing.
6 or 8 different themes.
Stop picking the same few Pokemon and having them in every region.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How many times do you need to see Psyduck? How many times do you need to see Pikachu?
Yeah.
I get it, it's a flagship Pokemon of the company, but you have
Well, I mean, if
so many cool
at
electric
that point,
types.
if Pikachu's gonna be your flagship, stop trying to design all these other wannabe flagships that are okay, you took Pikachu and altered him.
Yeah, Deden.
Palmio and all of them too.
Yeah, Palmot and
Like-
yeah.
The Plusle Minun and it's okay, if he's your flagship, stick with him being your flagship and stop trying to copy him to artificially make another one.
They basically turned Eevee into another mascot for the company.
See, I'm okay with Eevee though, because at least the elemental types are different.
I'm actually surprised we haven't gotten
The
another
physicals.
Eevee type. Maybe not Eevee himself.
Well, see, that's what we thought.
But
What was it? Rockruff was.
We
gonna
thought
be.
Rockruff was going to be a physical type Eevee.
Yeah.
Where now you have Rockruff turns into a fighting type and all this, and it just
He ended up becoming a werewolf.
a werewolf with 3
Or
different
the-
forms.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the dawn, the dusk, and then the twilight form. I think it's called.
Which
There's
is the two of them combined.
Yeah, but it's I'm actually surprised they didn't do another evolution for this, which a lot of people are theorizing that there might be one in the DLC, but
Who knows? Aren't they out of special attack types though?
I don't know. I think they still haven't.
Poison.
They haven't. Well, that's a physical type.
Poison's physical.
Yeah, they haven't done.
Because
Maybe
fighting,
they are.
dragon,
I think-
and all
I
of them
think
are
they-
physical.
Fighting, dragon, steel, ground. I think ground is not physical type. I think ground is special.
Oh, okay.
Rock is physical type, but I think ground.
Oh,
might
I,
be.
uh,
I don't really know. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, again, I love this game. I think it was great.
I think it was a good game.
I personally
overall.
like Sword and Shield better, but I think it's a step in the right direction. They just have those missteps.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the one thing I also hate. I hate that they took out the ability to switch between Switch and Set.
Oh, that was. I don't get that. Paul didn't even notice.
Yeah, no idea.
I didn't.
We-
9 generations of games, and Paul doesn't know what Switch and Set are. For
no.
a play type. For
He's-
those who
He's
also,
literally never changed it in any game up to this point.
Never.
that-
I've just played it as default.
I wonder if you go back and play some of the older games
on set.
on Set, how different your experience would be. If you had gone through Ruby and Sapphire on Set, if you would have had the same experience.
Of course, I would have.
Yeah,
Because I
Blaziken.
only
How many times did
I
you
only used Blaziken.
Right, but you said you've also switched to other Pokemon to take a hit, so you could heal him up. You don't have that luxury in Set.
well, he'd have to waste a turn.
You would have to waste a turn for them to wipe out your Pokemon, to then bring in another one. You'd end up bringing in...
No,
You would have all this fodder that you wouldn't have the time to use items to heal up your Pokemon fast enough. That's how I lost against Arvin. I didn't have enough time to heal fast enough.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean I would have done the same thing. It's if Blaziken would still do quite a bit of damage.
Right.
And even if he got knocked out, I'd have somebody else just sitting up, getting pummeled until I could use a revive, and then heal Blaziken, and then put him right back in.
How often do those Pokemon last, though? Because you didn't work up everybody even.
No.
And Groudon was only level 30 or 40, so by the end, he was probably getting one-shotted.
I never, to be quite honest,
I don't know.
Blaziken didn't get knocked out often.
I would actually like to see Paul go back through it with set.
So would I. So for those who don't know, who are uneducated like Paul, Switch and Set are 2 different play modes. So anytime you knock out an opponent's Pokemon, it'll say, such and such is bringing out this thing.
Squirtle
is bringing
Do
out
you wanna
Squirtle.
switch
Would you like
Pokemon?
to switch? So you can basically switch
Counteract.
out to your counter before they even bring out their Pokemon. So you could bring out your Raichu. They bring out their Squirtle, and you can just smoke it. Oh, it's bringing out Charmander. Would you like to switch?
Bring out some water type.
Bring out a water type. And so it's in set, they just bring it out. You have to waste that turn to switch to the counter. They basically get a free hit on you.
Yeah.
It's set.
Yeah.
If you switch, otherwise you
If
get
you
a
switch.
first hit on them.
Yeah. But it was weird to me that they took that out of this.
Yeah, and there was a lot of, like, from what I read, I think there was a lot of backlash about it. And they were like, well, we'll think about adding it. And
I ignored it. Honestly, anytime it told
hit
me
B,
that,
just to
I
cancel
just hit B to cancel it. And if I had to take a hit to bring out something new, I took a hit. Like I said, that's how I lost to Arvin. I didn't have a chance to heal fast enough because my Pokemon just kept getting knocked out.
Yeah, mine did too.
Yeah, so it's like to me, taking out Switch and set play types was a weird choice.
Yeah.
Considering it's been there from the beginning.
Yeah, it's literally been there since game 1.
And through Sword and
But
Shield.
that's how we know Paul has literally never gone into the options in the Pokemon game.
Never.
Yeah. and like I said, I almost wonder if you'd have a different experience going through some of the other games.
I mean, maybe.
Try it sometime.
Sure.
Just to see. Go through...
Good Ruby, it's short enough.
No, because he would just do the same thing.
Blaziken, yeah,
I
that's
would.
fine. Cause,
He'd be
but I would
a
like
prick about it.
I would like to see how different his Blaziken experience would be.
So here's the thing: I haven't played Sun and Moon.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe I'll just if I get Moon or Sun or something like that, then I will just I'll do it for that one.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think even in Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, they had...
I think you can change it in there.
Sorry, it's not switch and set. It's shift and set.
Shift.
Set, whatever,
Shift.
it's the same thing.
Because you get to shift your Pokemon into the new type. Yeah, yeah, it's shift and set. My bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. I'm not surprised that they got backlash for that because again, it's one of those things where for us,
It's been in the game, but it's been
it
here
adds
for
a degree
so
of
long.
challenge
I
that.
have literally been doing it since Red.
Yes, me too.
So I like not being able to do it is one of those things where I'm like, something feels weird. Why is battle slower? Same thing with not being able to turn off animations.
See, that don't worry. I never did that.
I did.
Yeah,
My first playthrough I didn't, but any repeated playthroughs I turned off battle animations
Yeah, I never.
just so
always
I
did
could
that.
go through the games faster and get the stuff I want and do stuff.
But other than that, I like a lot of the I like a lot of the typings they came up with. Like I said, as lame of a design as Pawmot is from Pawmi and Pawmo, I like the idea of fighting electric.
Yeah.
I thought that was unique. Scovillain, Fire Grass. I can't think.
I like them combining the weakness, like
Yes.
having grass
Yes.
with fire, having fighting with lightning. It just
It's-
it works.
And even in like previous generation, like Gliscor or Gligar and Gliscor being poison ground or flying ground or something
Something
like
like
that,
that.
where
And
it
they gave-
loses its electric weakness. Same with like Whiscash being water ground.
Yeah.
It loses that electric weakness. I like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It was something where I like when they take the weakness resistance and they flip it on its head and it's that trick's not going to work anymore.
And it basically negates it.
Yeah, granted, it ends up with a lot of the 4 times weakness, like you have with Whiscash, example. You have grass. It'd be 4 times weak to grass, but it's like it kind of makes up for not having that electric weakness.
Yeah, but at the same time, there have always been certain Pokemon that got screwed on stuff like that. Look at Dragonite. Hit him with an ice
Dragonite.
beam.
Yeah.
He's screwed
Ice-
right from the get-go.
4 times weak to ice, but again, that comes back to they didn't think battle through very well. Sorry, man. Dragon is not the Titan it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
was a
it
Titan.
has so many counters now. Dragon, its own type.
Fairy.
Fairy, which is, I mean,
Especially with like Tinkaton.
you can't even get touched by a dragon move when you're fairy. Like, it's the same as like a ghost being hit by a normal move and vice versa. It does nothing. It has no effect.
It has no effect. Yeah.
Yeah, so like fairy is a beast. I like fairy and the fact that it gives steel and poison a chance to shine. Which actually I have to say, I like the typings were neat because it's like with Skeledirge, I had a lot of instances where he just wasn't getting touched.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
of that Ghost counterpart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ghost itself is not a great type. It doesn't really do much to
No,
other things.
but if you combine it with fire, all of a sudden it's
Well,
like
that's
you
why-
can actually live long enough to enjoy it.
What was that one Pokemon?
Zoroark in the Hisuian version became normal Ghost, which was fascinating.
Was it Spiritomb or Sableye where when it was first introduced, people were breeding it to have some ability on it? Where
Wonder
it could,
Guard.
Yeah, where it couldn't be touched by anything other than a critical hit or whatever.
It couldn't be hit by anything with a weakness.
Yeah.
It needed to be a weak move. Sableye in its original release in Ruby Sapphire had 0 weakness
Yeah.
because it was Ghost Dark.
And they were purposely
jeez.
breeding it and breaking the game by
Yes.
putting that Wonder Guard ability on him. You couldn't touch him at all.
Shedinja,
Oh, wow.
which came from Ninjask.
Yeah.
one
So when
HP.
you evolved Nincada into Ninjask, it had something called Cast-Off Shell, where if you had an open Pokeball and an open slot, you got Shedinja, which was the husk of Nincada.
Yeah,
It was a ghost with
1 HP.
1 HP, and it had Wonder Guard. It could not be hit by anything unless it was a super effective move.
Oh, wow.
So you bred a Sableye with that ability that it couldn't be hit by anything that wasn't super effective. Nothing is.
Yeah.
yeah.
You could not kill Sableye. I think the only way you could was I think you could put it under status effects.
Yeah, I think so.
So like
so you
poison
could poison
point.
it. You could
Moves that do direct status effects.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it could be burned.
Burn, it could be
Wisp,
poison.
something like that,
yeah.
Will-O-Wisp, I think,
Will-O-Wisp,
could work.
Yeah.
Or even if Sableye hit something that had like I said, poison point, where it would become poisoned by touching it.
Yeah.
Or vice, flame body or whatever.
I think Rock Helmet or the one of the ones where like if it hit you,
The Rocky Helmet.
yeah, it took damage.
Yeah.
I think it would take damage from stuff like that too.
Yeah, so like I've always thought like some of the typings were very, very fascinating, but then you have typings that are just why, like how many ice types are 4 times weak to fucking fire
Steel.
or steel like all right.
Same with flying Pokemon. How many of them get
Oh my
flying
God.
something that makes them super weak to electric?
Yeah.
Why this is an argument I have too with their thinking. There are 4 Pokemon that are flying normal.
Yeah.
Why do you add normal to it?
Well, normal should just not be a type anymore. It needs to be dropped.
I'm fine with normal. I like the idea of normal.
Eh.
But god damn it, flying normal. You have Swablu is flying normal. You have Starly flying normal. You have give me another bird. I was just playing it and I was like, boy,
Star Raptor.
there are a lot of flying normal
Yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah, Staraptor would be flying normal.
He would be flying normal.
Talonflame is like is fire
Talonflame is
flyer.
fire flying.
Yeah.
But he starts as
Normal.
flying normal.
Yeah.
It's like, why do they keep throwing normal on types? It
It
does nothing for it, and it just makes it weak to fighting.
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
I don't know.
It's mind-boggling to me sometimes when they come up with typings. But like I said, overall, I do like a lot of the experimental typings they did. Like I said, grass fire, it's neat.
Yeah.
I would love to see like a fire water or grass electric, something cool like that. I like that kind of shit. Like that's fascinating to me. That's why I like Tinkaton, Steel Fairy.
I love him.
As weird as he is.
Tinkaton I love. Plus I loved his Pokedex entry. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
They hunt Corviknights. they use their giant hammer to knock steel like balls into the air to knock them out of the sky.
Oh,
And then they use the steel corpses of the Corviknights to forge bigger hammers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Or like I like a lot of that shit. Or Poison Steel. I mean, it was cool. I like Fire Poison with Salazzle. I thought was neat typings.
Oh yeah, that's the male female lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your next negative?
The weird 70-year-old students streamed
Yeah.
out the world.
That
It was so stupid.
like everything being tied into the school seemed a little weird.
And well, there was only like 3 animations too for everybody. It was weird.
Yeah.
The trainers felt like an afterthought.
It was always when you beat one of the trainers and they call back their Pokemon. They look at the ball. They do this, and then it's like, all right, I'm done.
All right, I got my ass kicked.
So, yeah.
I liked the idea of battling so many trainers in a route, and then
To get a prize for it.
reward,
Yeah.
which was usually a TM of some sort. I kind of like that idea,
Mm-hmm.
considering battling was optional.
The other thing I liked with the root thing like that was getting the parts from the Pokemon to create TMs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was a nice system.
That
It
was
gave you
clever.
a reason to fight things.
yeah, or even to just do that Let's Go thing to just wipe out stuff to get the parts. That's what I did with the Sinistee chips to get the armors for the
Oh yeah,
Armor
Armor
Rouge.
Rouge and
So it's like,
did Paul evolve them?
what a schmuck. I don't even think he knew what it was. He
I
was like,
didn't
what does that
use-
evolve from?
Yeah, I didn't even use.
Charcadet, depending on there's 2 different armors in the game. Our version had one that turned him into Armor Rouge.
Yeah.
Mine was
It's
Ceruledge.
Ceruledge. And then if you put the armor on him, and then was it leveled up or traded him?
You just used the
Leveled
armor.
up.
Oh, okay, no,
Leveled
just
up.
use the armor on them. They
Just
become
use it.
the other
Oh.
form.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It was
So,
cool.
It was a cool
Gotcha.
idea. There was a
some of the coolest designs.
yeah.
And I
Except for
like,
they both suffered from the same thing. They're the same typing.
were they really?
They were both like
fire ghost?
ghost or something like that. Yeah.
I thought one was fire psychic for some
Thought it was
reason.
fire ghost for both of them.
It could be. Yeah, because I know he's fire ghost for me with Ceruledge. But I don't know. Like I said, it's great ideas. I do think it's a great game. And maybe if this is your first Pokemon game or your second, you won't care so much about the theme gym crap like we do. Like I said, a lot of our gripes are coming from the fact that we've been playing this for God, how many years now? Like
Since 1999.
so,
Well, 98.
Yeah. So I mean, 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need something fresh. We need a change.
Yeah,
And-
actually, 25 years.
Oh, okay. So it's Armor Rouge is fire psychic apparently, and Ceruledge is fire ghost.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
Which was cool. I like
Okay,
when they
so-
do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just they did so much of the same stuff other than like their special move.
Yeah.
Where if you used Armor Rouge's best move, like the armor actually comes off his shoulders onto his hands and he does like a Mega Man Buster.
Oh, that's cool.
And then Ceruledge does the sword swings.
Yeah. Oh, that's badass.
Yeah.
Fire Psychic's cool type anyway. Just like Chandelure.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was
Fire
He
Ghost.
was Fire Ghost. I thought there was a Fire Psychic. Maybe not.
That fox, that magic fox starter.
Delphox. Delphox was from
Is that X-Y or Black Y?
that was XY, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm pretty sure that was fire psychic.
Yes, it was. Because Greninja was Dark Water,
The ninja.
and then Chestnut was Grass
Steel Gra-
Fighting.
Was he?
Yeah, he was Grass Fighting,
Huh.
which is a cool type. I like
Yeah.
Chestnut. That was a great generation for starters.
Yeah. That's something I know previous generations have had ways where we could get the other starters. Did you find that in this version?
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Past
no idea. The only one I knew where you got all the starters was Yellow.
no, you couldn't get all of them. I think you could get one other one in some of them.
Oh god, I had no clue.
But I think it was one of those, go to this person, trade this, do this, do that type thing.
Maybe. Yeah, because
I've only known that Yellow, you could pick up all the stars because it was supposed to
Yeah, Yellow
more
doesn't
so
count.
mimic the
TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it was going to mimic the TV show, you can't beat the Elite Four.
If it was going to mimic the
You wouldn't
TV
even get
show,
there.
you wouldn't even get there.
Fucking Ash.
Uh,
Oy.
yeah, I don't really have anything else for Scarlet Violet.
I have one last thing.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So I decided to nickname some Pokemon,
Oh.
and so I took I made a list of the ones to see if you guys appreciate these as much as I do.
Of course.
So
The answer is no.
Varoom nicknamed him Speed Racer.
You stupid ass.
I'm surprised you didn't call him the Mach 5 or something.
Silicobra, Imposter Ekans.
Oh my god.
Orthworm,
That stupid fucking thing.
Earthworm Jim. Oh, let's see. I don't know why.
Actually, Orthworm, if it would have fit, you could have called him Alaskan Bullworm. Which
No,
would have
do
been
you
a
remember-
joke from SpongeBob.
Do you remember that cartoon? God, I think it was a cartoon where he was the worm that wore the hat and it was like the suit and he had like the boot at the other end of him. was from when we were real little.
Oh my god, no. I
Oh
don't remember that. It sounds hilarious.
It's stupid as fuck.
Oh,
So Cricketot,
yeah.
Belvedere. I don't know why.
Mr. Belvedere?
Okay. Just looks like a butler.
Yeah, okay.
Fanpy?
Fanpy.
Sorry, Fanpy. Elephant.
Yep, Elephant the Elephant. You're so stupid.
Metatite?
Yeah.
Meta Knight. Dunsparce. The Dunce.
The Dunes.
Yep.
Which was funny that they gave even poor old stupid Dunesparce a fucking evolution. Yeah. Oh my god, yes! It was from, what was it? The Busy World of Richard Scarry.
Was that what it was from?
I think so.
I just remember him because, like, well, this isn't the original design. He had, like, the shoe, just the one shoe.
That's so funny.
I feel like it is. Oh, God.
See, now I've triggered your memory. You're like, oh, damn.
Yeah, and that... Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, wow, I can't believe I remember.
So Growlithe, I don't know why, but Cat Stevens.
You were the
so
worst.
Clawful from Mario 2. He was the crab from Mario 2.
Surprised you didn't name him after their the Black Panthers villain.
No.
I would have just called him Mr. Krabs.
No. Gumi. So once I found out he was a dragon type,
is that the apple?
I named him Ivan Dragon, as in Ivan Drago.
Gumi is the one that evolves into Gudra.
Oh, okay.
That you have to evolve during rain.
Yeah.
Pseudo-Wudo. Bit of wood.
Bit of wood. Actually, that was one of the funniest things is when you fight. I want to say it's the Grass Gym leader, where he talks about, I'm going to turn you into true wooden something, because Pseudo-Wudo, obviously fake wood. Yeah. And he mentions that. I'm going to turn you into a real tree, because he obviously terrestrializes him into grass.
Oh,
and it's just kind of funny. I was like,
Stonejourner. I just called him Stonehenge.
God, where? I didn't even see Stonejourner. I don't know.
Oh, he might have been.
He might have been a Scarlet exclusive.
Yeah. Capsicid, Elroy.
Yeah,
he just looks like Elroy.
I can see that.
Sandygast, called him Milkshake. He looks like a milkshake. He's even got the straw sticking out of him. This one you will never guess. Okay, Flamigo. Guess what I nicknamed him?
That's
I know which one it is.
It's
the Flamingo.
Yeah.
God damn it.
What did I nickname him?
What's that song? From what is it, Laverne and Shirley?
What? Oh, are you dating yourself?
Lenny or Squiggy? No, I have no idea.
Flamingo.
You're an idiot.
Oh my god, I hate you, Paul. He was trying to be clever with all of them, and then he gets that one. He's like, I got nothing.
Then you're like just naming them what they are. Starly, bird.
and this so let me see. Kevin might know the reference to this one. So Bisharp, the B Sharps.
B Sharps.
Is
that when you take a sharp poop?
No, it's Simpsons.
It's from the Simpsons.
It's the barbershop quartet.
It's the barbershop quartet.
Oh,
but it's just so funny because Bisharp, like it worked.
There were 5 of them.
The B Sharps. It just works.
That's funny.
So those were some of my nicknames.
You were such a lame ass. See, now this game, I wonder if anybody could do, because obviously a big thing in the Pokemon community is doing Nuzlocke. Mm-hmm. Where the first Pokemon you encounter per route is the only Pokemon you can use. Yeah. And if they die, they're dead. You have to release them.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you could really do that with this one.
You could do it by named area. It does pop up on the thing saying what area you're in.
I suppose so, yeah.
It does, yeah.
Same with, like, if you go into the caves.
How would you...
It'd be the first one you get into a physical battle with.
But see, with being able to see them on the field, you could manipulate that system to just run into the one you want. And sometimes seeing the first one you see, you might see multiple Pokemon at the same time. So how would you do Nuzlocke and
I don't know if you
Sword and Shield?
I don't know if you necessarily could, because you by default get to pick what your first battle is.
They've probably already come up with Let me see.
I'm sure there are stipulated rules because that's one I've always wanted to try doing is a Nuzlocke run.
Yeah.
Because I think it's kind of interesting
Not for me.
No, just the fact that if you lose, you lose. Like there's a way to actually fail.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of interesting. It would force you to use Pokemon that you probably would never have used before.
I feel more so, not necessarily like if you lose, you lose. To me, it would feel like the Super Mario RPG Level 3 challenge. Only you have to go through the entire game.
Yeah.
A 30 to 35 hour playthrough of that game, of Pokemon, with that team. And if it's the first Pokemon you find, like, you may not like that Pokemon. You may not like your team. Like,
that's the point. It's luck of the draw, and you really have to know your shit.
Yeah.
Like, you would really have to know what moves this Pokemon's gonna learn, and like, know damage types, what these moves do, what you're fighting. Like,
Maybe,
I think it would be an interesting...
It might be.
I don't know. I would try it. I'm not sure with what game, personally, but I don't know. I was just thinking about that. Yeah, maybe XY, because that one still had roots, and it was still relatively... Yeah, I think I would probably do XY. I don't know. I just thought of that just now.
I'm a little ashamed of Paul, though.
And I was like that.
Ashamed of me?
Yeah. Can you name any of your Pokemon? Gordon? Yeah, Gordon Shumway.
Why would I have named him Gordon?
Why not?
I don't care for Laverne and Shirley.
No, it's Alf.
Oh, Alf. Oh,
that's Alf's real name.
I should have done Alf.
Gordon Shumway.
No, it's Shumway.
Shumway.
That's his real name.
Gordon Shumway.
What Pokemon would he have been?
I don't know.
know.
Someone with a big nose. Something cute.
It would have been like Probopass.
Who likes to eat cats.
But I don't think Probopass is in this one. I don't think Nosepass and Probopass are in there. No. But anyway, I think that's all we basically have to say about Scarlet and Violet.
Yep.
It was a fun experience, and
good building blocks for the future.
Yeah. I think it's honestly, it gives me hope for the future, but they really need to deliver.
And I will say this. I think Game Freak at some point needs to firmly, go against Nintendo and say, look, you cannot cheap out on your systems anymore. Nintendo has a very bad habit, like, since the GameCube, I should say. None of, like the Wii, the Wii U, and now this, they are very underpowered compared to the competition.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So even if Nintendo doesn't go cutting edge, could you imagine what Game Freak could do with a PS5?
Oh, God, this game would have been phenomenal.
We probably would have had all 1,000 Pokemon.
Yeah. It's true.
So they need to at some point stand up to Nintendo and be like, look, either give us the right to, release a Pokemon game on PC or something, or step up your console power.
I mean,
we need it. You are falling behind so much at this point.
At this point, Pokemon is probably one of the, besides Zelda and Mario, it's one of the top titles. 3 titans on Nintendo.
I think it's a $1 billion franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Because Zelda doesn't quite transcend its medium, but Mario Brothers does. Mm-hmm. Pokemon does as well. Yeah. Pokemon is a household name, whether you play games or not. Mm-hmm. You know what Pokemon are.
Oh.
Well, it's because of the cartoons.
Yeah, okay, so Pokemon's worth an estimated value of $92 billion.
Wow.
Insane.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, at some point...
they've got the power. They are technically, I think, their own company still.
You could probably push Nintendo around at this point.
Or at least
as a property.
Maybe not necessarily push them around, but guide them into choosing better specs for their hardware.
I'm pretty sure, though, that Nintendo owns the IP to Pokemon,
right,
though.
But I mean, if
they co-own it.
If they pushed back and said, you guys need, you're holding us back.
Oh.
You need to step up your shit.
Mm-hmm.
They could get away with it.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, obviously, as a Capcom, which is still a huge thing, or a Square Enix, can't go up to Nintendo and say you need to step up your shit.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because they'll be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But, a Game Freak could, go up to
Game Freak is the only one I think that could because they are not owned by Nintendo. They are their own company. They co-own Pokemon with Nintendo, though.
I see.
Which is why, Game Freak is it does most of, the merchandising stuff. It's not Nintendo that does it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could have them go up and be like, look,
we need more.
You need more. You need to do better. Because, like you said, Nintendo's never been known for being a powerful console.
Like GameCube was, but they shot
Yeah.
themselves in the foot with the mini disc.
And it came out too late.
Yeah.
That was their biggest problem. Same with these. They're behind when it comes to releases.
Now, like, they
Which
do really cool concepts, like the gaming at home and then picking up and going on the go.
Yes.
Fantastic idea. I'm okay with them keeping that. But, like, look at something like the Steam Deck, which is a portable PC.
Yeah.
It's a full-powered PC in handheld.
Yeah.
And it blows the Switch's specs out of the water.
But, I mean, we've discussed this before. Power isn't necessarily everything. Look between the Vita and the Game Boy.
Well, and I'm not necessarily
Vita
saying
lost.
they don't necessarily have to go state-of-the-art either.
Right,
So,
right. But, I mean,
They need to stop going multiple generations behind and finding
Right.
the cheapest thing.
they need to they've always been more about the innovation rather than the graphics. We've talked about this with the
Yeah.
Wii, the Wii U.
They can still do both, though. That's
but
my thing. They
that's
have the
the
money
thing.
to do both.
You have them. If they had something, all right. In this generation, they don't need to be a PS5 or Series X caliber system. Be a PS4 caliber system.
Hell, even
because
PS3.
I'm sorry, but
well, maybe not PS3.
the Switch is not a PS4 caliber
Oh,
system.
no.
It's still in like PS3 era. There are gorgeous games on it.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3,
Oh, Metroid Dread.
gorgeous game.
Yeah.
Metroid Dread, gorgeous game.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still behind.
Yeah,
Like,
you're at this point they are almost intentionally hamstringing games that could be way more like defining. Like you wouldn't
Even-
have open world things be like, well, it's you're copying from this. They'd be like, no,
and they
Zelda is the redefining open world game again.
they hold their developers back too by using such small cartridges.
Yeah,
It's what, 32
I
gigs?
think the largest is 32.
64 gigs are very cheap. Hell, even some of like the 128s are not that expensive.
Yeah.
You're holding your developers back. It's the reason why we have so many games on the Switch that are like collections, but it's like this one's part of the thing and the other one's download.
Yeah.
Look at the Resident Evil collection.
Mm-hmm.
Like what was it? It was 4, 5, and 6.
Or Revelations, where the Revelations collection, 1 came on the cart, 2 was a download.
Bayonetta 1 and 2 was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Bayonetta 1 was the physical, 2 was the Bayonetta 1 was the download, 2 was the physical.
Yeah.
It's like you're shoehorning your developers into such a corner.
Now, I'm not asking them to jump and be ridiculous like some of the sizes of games on
No.
PS5 and stuff where, like, I have games that are 100 gig. I'm not expecting them to jump to that, but
Absolutely not.
they still need to step up the graphical power and stuff
Mhm.
because they could do so much more with these franchises.
Yeah, look at the backlash. What game was it that just they talked about for the Xbox? Redfall, I think it was.
Maybe.
They're only releasing it at 30 frames a second.
Oh,
It's
an
not
Xbox
60.
only game anyways.
It is, but I mean, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Your games have to be 60 frames a second. 30 is a thing of PS4 and some PS3, PS4 games.
Yeah.
You can't release on modern consoles at 30 frames a fucking second. You just can't.
Yeah.
It has to be 60.
Well, or you need to do the dual mode that like
The performance or resolution.
Yeah, like
the
a lot of
ray
games.
tracing and
so
all
you
that
either
shit.
have all the graphical options up to like higher settings, or you have the higher frame rate.
Yeah, and I know there was a huge kerfuffle with Redfall, I think. I want to say it was Redfall was the game. Where, 30 frames a second is a joke. Like, that might as well be on the 360 at this point.
Yeah.
But that's, unfortunately, like, that's how the Switch feels. Is you're locked into that 30 frames a second mindset when we've been on 60 frames a second for the past generation or two.
Yeah.
Like, get with the times.
Mhm.
Like, your innovation's great. Love the Switch.
You can keep doing the innovations. You just
Yes.
there's other ways to keep doing it. You don't have to always.
Right. And, I mean, like you said, think of how massively great this game would have been had the Switch been a more powerful system, had a bigger cartridge.
Yeah.
I mean...
Even a bigger, just internal storage to download more
Oh, yeah.
high res texture packs or something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, who uses the internal storage on their Switch? I don't.
I do.
Mine's all card.
But I also have stuff that was only digital only.
Yeah,
So.
I have a 256 gig card in my Switch, and I'm almost full.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to kind of start delving into, like some especially with Pokemon, because it's such a beloved franchise. that like graphics kind of really don't matter, which is why this hyper stylized cartoon look still works for
Well,
me.
they can still do.
You don't
See, the problem is they can still do hyper stylized and
Yeah.
other stuff. So it's like,
Like I said, nobody looks to a Pokemon game to look like fucking Forsaken or I'm sorry, Forspoken or like Hogwarts Legacy or whatever. You're not expecting a gorgeous game.
But
out of
Pokemon's
Pokemon.
also no longer a genre definer like it used to be.
No, but it's still a system seller.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Same with the Breath of the Wild 2. That's coming out. Tears of the Kingdom.
So good.
Honestly, I'm not sold, but
I love
I know
Twilight,
you two
the Twilight
Princess.
Yeah, and it's pulling a lot of the stuff from that. You can see like the symbols, the sounds. So
yeah. I might still get it just out of habit, and because Zelda's one of my favorite franchises. Although I'm kind of falling off of it a bit, because like Breath of the Wild was great, but hindsight after I played it,
meh. Yeah.
Horizon did it better. This other game did it better. Like it's one of those where it's like Breath of the Wild was a good idea, but
again, Nintendo.
Good start. I'm curious to see once you get Tears of the Kingdom how and you tell me about it, how it'll be. But I don't know. You have to prove it to me, I guess. You'd have to convince me. But yeah, that'll be it.
That should be good.
That's it. Yeah. You know,
we always have a tangent at the
there's
end.
always a tangent at the end.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's
little bonus.
formula. It's formula for us.
That's right, formula. We got distracted. 2-hour episode? Nah, 2.5 hour episode, son. Pokemon one's
The Midwest
always
goodbye.
Yeah, that's right. Midwest goodbye. What's going on with your life, Bowen? No. So yeah, that'll do it. So you can watch us on YouTube with PowerTripGaming.tv. Takes you directly to the channel. You can watch us tackle the NES collection, 678 North American licensed games. If you're not already.
Yes, you can watch us play anything other than the Nintendo as well, too. We also have some side quest material on there that we cover games on the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, the PlayStation 2, Dreamcast,
Saturn.
everything.
Whatever sparks our fancy.
Yes.
Whatever we feel like doing. And if you don't feel like contacting us through our social media, which we've kind of abandoned at this point, you can always shoot us an email at nespowertrip@gmail.com. We will answer your questions, comments, and concerns. And
that'll do it.
I think that'll about tackle everything.
It will be.
Maybe we'll do. Are you guys gonna get the expansion? That the teal mask and indigo mask or whatever.
I'll wait to see. I was really excited to get to look at the expansion for Sword and Shield, and then it just kind of looked.
I never got the expansion for Sword and Shield. I doubt I'll get it for.
I did,
for
and
Scarlet.
I actually liked it because I liked the Pokemon that came with it, that Urshifu or whatever, the fighting bear. I actually, when I played Sword and Shield,
Well, it's supposed to be like another evolution of like Mindfu.
No, it was like a whole separate thing.
Oh.
Like the whole quest line for it was that you were
gotcha.
basically like grooming this fighting bear thing. And then at the end of it, you chose one of the two towers to turn them either into water fighting or dark fighting. And
Interesting.
And and I ended up, I think, going water fighting, but I ended up going through the whole main game with him.
Oh, nice.
Because you can do it pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually a pretty good expansion.
Cool.
I'm with you. I'm not sure if
There's too many other stuff I want at the moment and to play.
Yeah, same. Like I said, another thing you'd have to convince me. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. See what they come up with. But yeah, I think that'll do it.
I'll do it. You have been listening with Power.
With Power. Power Trip, which is also a move in Pokemon.
Is it really?
It is. There's a move. It's a dark move called Power Trip. I forget what the actual stat things are.
Who's got it?
A dark Pokemon.
A dark Pokemon.
Oh.
Idiot.
Okay.
There's also Power Gem, which is a rock move. I'm trying to think of another one. I think that's all the ones that have power in it. Sad. Just shut up.